Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey.
Why are you fuzzy?
No, no.
Did you check the sound? Is that on the right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to change. It's hard to say. Hi, everybody. How are you? Yeah, we're trying to deal with some system upgrades and whatever, and it throws off the camera. So I don't know. I need all the filtration we can get, babe. Crank it up. That's the only reason why I use StreamYard as our platform, because it's like, how much do you want to...
Really?
How much do you want to pretend? And I'm like, about 50%. Soon enough, we'll go up to 75.
Then we'll be at full.
And then we'll be at full, and I'll quit.
Yeah.
I'll be done. Anyway, it's great to be with you guys. How's everybody? CNN, enemy of the state. I mean, you could really transfer that. You could put something else in there. You could put Rand Paul. You could say Rand Paul is. We're going to talk about him in the monologue today. I mean, with enemies like that or friends like that, who needs enemies? So,
well, I think he's just... I think there's too many people in Congress, period. But I think there's too many people trying to be relevant and trying to get the soundbite. Know if they say stuff that Fox will have them on and CNN will have them on. And
right.
It's so disingenuous. And I used to like Rand Paul, and I don't hate him now, but it's just...
I don't like him. I'm officially over it. I'm officially over it. I don't care anymore. Which sucks, because he could actually come in and be pivotal if they ever decide to do anything regarding vaccine injuries. If we want to have some honest conversation about what was in that vaccine, what they knew about it, how many people have been harmed by it.
I mean, he's still out there talking about the Hegseth thing. How many times the New York Times debunked it? Can
you move on? Can you move on? We've moved on. It's made its 48 hours.
Yeah, it's another hoax.
Jeffrey Epstein, once they released everything, what happens? Everybody goes quiet until today, when we actually have a Jeffrey Epstein connected story that has to do with 2 Democrat senators. I don't want to talk about that, says the media. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
So, I mean, the story is always what they're not talking about.
100%. 100%. Let's talk about what we want to talk about. Let me get into my bookmarks and make sure I've got the right thing to tell you. All right, I'm going to say this. I hope that Chef Man is on the program here. chefman.com/Wendy. And if you use my promo code, allegedly, you're going to get 30% off. I've flagged our friends at Rumble, and there was a snafu yesterday I noticed, where if you go to chefman.com/Wendy, it takes you to a landing page where it says, hey, Wendy Bell Radio listeners all get 20% off. And it's like, well, 30% off is better. So I'm hoping that they're fixing it, because their products are phenomenal. Yes. Everything we get from this company is phenomenal. I could sit here and tell you about the slushie, about the ice cubes, about the Chef IQ. I could tell you about the oven. I could tell you about the obliterator. We could go on and talk about how great the ice cream maker could be. I'm just going to tell you, everything they make, I would buy.
I can't tell you about the ice cream maker, but I have one that's not Chef Man, and I love it. And if I needed one, I would. 100%. Chef Man's knocked it out of the park for everything else.
They've absolutely destroyed it. And the thing that I love about this company is that they make small profile devices. Even this oven that Brock has now, and he puts it on a cart in his kitchen, I would presume. Mm-hmm. And that's where it exists. These are not monstrous, kitchen absorbing appliances.
I don't even know why I have a stove.
The Pebble ice maker.
It's game changer.
Totally. Stop it. Stop. Have you ever been without ice? I have.
Oh, yeah.
I have. For a year. Because I was too cheap to pay the outrageous amount that they wanted for some stupid ass part. And I was like, no. And so we got bagged ice every week, and it sucked, but it was a point, right? Well, had I known, I would have just gotten the Pebble ice maker. Because in 30 minutes, you have ice. You're like, I'm going to go take a shower. And if you shave your legs and you come out, you have ice. Right? Right? Maybe if you skip it, it's not quite ready yet. But if you're going to shave, okay, you're going to hop out. There's your ice. Okay.
Might as well shave.
Might as well shave.
So you get the ice.
I'm waiting for ice.
Please.
Chefman.com/Wendy. I hope Let me know, wendybellradio@gmail.com. If you try to use it and it doesn't work for you, we'll figure it out. We'll get you the discount. I don't want you not to get it.
Right. Even if you don't use the Wendy code.
Just let me, however you can get it, I want you to get it. Like, I'd love credit for it, but whatever. I'd rather you be happy. So anyway, chefman.com. That's a promotion right there. That's a commercial. You can't pay enough for me to talk about 3 minutes about Chefman. I love you guys. Welcome.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, Common Sense Conservative Values. 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's as easy as it gets, right? We're cheap, we're easy, and we don't lie to you. I mean, that's a commercial right there. WendyBellRadio.com is how you can follow along the live video stream. All 3 hours is broadcast for you. We invite you to join in the chat. Have a conversation with us. Let us talk to you during the commercial breaks. We love having you here. We're delighted you've stumbled upon us, and I hope you keep coming back. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, it's so easy when you're not connected to a war to sit back on the outskirts and to criticize, right? To lay blame, to be critical, to nitpick. It's a whole different ballgame when you are loaded down with your gear, a gun, and people firing at you. This is the President of the United States, always under fire, always battling some such nonsense. And I wonder if he knew back in 2015 when he decided to make it official, 16, whenever it was. I wonder if he knew what it was going to be like to trust no one and to realize that what you are trying to do, nobody wants you to succeed at. Right? The deep state does not want Donald Trump to succeed. And deep state means people deeply entrenched in establishment corruption and other such nonsense that you and I, of course, pay for. And they lie to us every single day on the cameras of the fake news. They promise us when they come up for re-election, oh, this time will be different. I'm going to do so much better. They don't want Donald Trump to succeed because they're livelihoods, their 401ks, if you will, the golden parachute is all dependent upon him being eliminated. He's taking on the deep state. And you're going to hear some voices today, and we're going to talk about some stories today that are truly just mind-boggling. Because if at face value, we can all say we believe in what is right for America, what is good for her financially, what is safest and most reasonable and most productive for her people. And if that is how we're going to view moving forward, legislatively and otherwise, Then it makes perfect sense to bomb narco-terrorists in the ocean. It makes perfect sense to warn people like Nicolas Maduro. My man, your time has come and gone. So now go. It makes perfect sense when you hear people like Rand Paul, deep state rhino that he is, come forward and demand that President Trump be accountable for killing people in the sea. That's not American. Senator Paul thinks. And he wants proof. He wants to see the video. Show us the video of the people whose narco boat you blew up, but who managed to survive. Show us the video. Hey, Rand, you guys also wanted to get the Epstein files. How's that working for you? Getting lots of good details about that? You don't want to see that video, sir. Because you know what it's going to show you? It's going to show you two dudes clinging to a burning remnant of a boat and trying to grab the bags of drugs that they were transporting across the Caribbean Sea to land on our American shores and, by the way, kill our people. Why are you never upset about that, Senator? Rand Paul coming forward and saying, you know what, we need to have an investigation. We need to look into what this president and this secretary of war are doing. Killing random people in the sea, that's not American. Hey, Rand, suck it. Yes, it is, because they've been killing us for how long? Now, if you think about it, people coming forward and supporting all of the wrong people and all the wrong policies and all the wrong projects. Why do they do that? We got to be in on it. Got to get something out of it. There must be some kind of a payoff, because you're not going to just go out and say, I support these narco terrorists. How do we know? Well, apparently the Coast Guard came out and they're like, you know what? We patrol around the perimeter of the country. And as we're cruising through the Gulf of America and we go down off of Venezuela, we see boats coming in and out. We interdict them. We board them. We check them out. 79% of them are carrying drugs. These aren't people who are speedboating in what's called, in fact, fast boats. You know, the boats that have the 3 motors on them. And if you look at the video of it, it's all these parcels that are wrapped up. And they're all taped together and plastic wrapped, right? Those people aren't fishing, Senator. They're carrying drugs to our country. 79% of the vessels are carrying drugs. These are just rando interdictions at sea in international waters by the U.S. Coast Guard. Do you mean to tell me, Senator, that the greatest military in the universe, with the finest surveillance, with the most amazing satellite and drone technology, doesn't know every single person on board those boats as they load up their drugs and scoot across the sea with one thing in mind: get to America to poison our people? Rand Paul says 79%. That means 21% of the people aren't. What if we're bombing those people? I've had just about my fill of Rand Paul. And what we see going on here is a pissing match with this senator who President Trump has called out numerous times. He's on par with Thomas Massie now as persona non grata among the rhino class, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Continue that path, Senator, that's fine. But you've become like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, right? How dare you submit that we're murdering people just indiscriminately? That it's just, what the hell, we can do whatever we want. How have you known nothing about our military? Are you ever in those rooms, Senator? Are you getting classified information? Do you have the top secret briefings? No. And you know why you don't? Because that would make you a threat to America's national security. Because I don't trust you. And I'm positive President Trump doesn't trust you either. When Donald Trump came down that escalator, I'm sure he had some kind of an idea what he was up against. I don't think he had a clue. How deep, how dark, how dirty, how connected to each other Republicans and Democrats in the deep state, the dark money, the trafficking, the drugs, all of it. There is a reason why these people never want to leave office. There's a reason why Ilhan Omar allegedly began her congressional career tens of thousands of dollars in debt. But now, if you look at her disclosures, she's worth something to the effect of $30 million. How does that happen, friends? Doesn't happen on a $174,000 congressional salary. When is enough enough? When your own lawmakers go to bat for criminal drug runners, narco terrorists, cartels, and how long have they been terrorizing and tormenting and murdering the American people? That's not something Rand Paul's worried about. He just thinks it's wrong for us to do this. No more bombing of people at sea. Let's wait until their boats get to our shore and then go get them. What an absolute moron. You know what, Senator? If I'm not mistaken, you're an ophthalmologist. Dummies are not ophthalmologists. How about we don't tell you about diseases of the eye? I won't tell you about your ocular nerve and all sorts of other things going on with your eye. You leave the defense of the American people to the hands of the professionals, who, by the way, have given us no reason whatsoever not to believe them and trust them. Hook, line, and sinker. And I believe I speak for a grateful nation when yet one more scumbag who wants to kill our sons and daughters gets blown to smithereens, whose then body sinks to become fish food. That doesn't make me a bad person. That makes me 100% pro-America. Try it on for size someday, Senator. We see you. And I ain't no ophthalmologist. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. The DOJ is now very serious about what's going on in Minnesota. What's happening with the Somali fraud? What's happening with the Democrats running interference for it? What's the DOJ's play? Well, they're cranking up the heat. I got the details next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
You know, the worst part about it is they're starting to question the general or admiral that did this.
Bradley.
Yeah, he's had a distinguished career. And you think all of a sudden he's just going off the deep end?
I need to figure it out. Is it all of the sudden, as Brock says, or is it all of a sudden?
All of a sudden.
No. The only reason I say that is because two other people this week sent me messages, and not because of this. They all said all of the sudden. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I've been wrong for 55 years. I've been wrong.
Not you.
But I haven't.
You haven't. But all of a sudden, he is going rogue.
Yeah.
And there's JAG officers saying you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah.
There's not one person's making this decision.
This is lunacy.
It is.
It's lunacy. And for Rand Paul to be like, the Coast Guard stopping boats off the coast of Venezuela, that's not the same thing as surveilling on the ground in Venezuela, on the ground in Colombia, on the ground in these countries, knowing who the players are, what the network is. Even Pete Hegseth in the cabinet meeting was like, I'm not going to go over all of the details of the intel that we have. Why would I tell you our strategy? How would I tell you who we have and how we know all of this? We know all of this.
Well, not just that. For Rand Paul, let me make it simple. If a guy comes into your house waving a gun, do you wait for him to shoot you? Because I wouldn't.
Dr. Richard Rafferty, the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, do not slip a disc. Do not be suffering from sciatica, degenerative disc disease. Do not walk around in that kind of pain and think your only recourse is surgery, and so therefore you don't even want to talk to somebody. No. You got to call Doc Rafferty, 412-906-9600. Look, I realize this is local to me, and we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And you're like, I live in North Carolina. People have come in from Oregon, Washington State, Florida, Texas, all over the country to go through this process that's called intra-disc neutrosis that allows your discs to grow back, right? Get back into position so the pain goes away without you getting cut into. Non-surgical, 98% successful. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com, 412-906-9600. Do it. Just call. Do it. That's kind of creepy. A little bit. Is my fabulosity making it through to you guys? Is it baking into you? How you doing? I'm officially weird. I know. I'm sorry. We got a couple Stephen Millers today, too.
National treasure.
Telling you. I love him. Who don't belong in our country, who were imported here under Joe Biden's auto pen open border, have been able to run circles around Tim Walz and anybody who's paying attention and basically steal billions of dollars of COVID money just right from under their noses. Well, apparently, according to a Fox special report, this just in, the DOJ has been asked to criminally investigate. Yeah, what's taken so long, I wonder. Let's go.
They're calling for an investigation. 4 Minnesota Congress members addressing the state's U.S. attorney, demanding answers after a report claimed taxpayer dollars were ending up in the hands of Somali terror group al-Shabaab.
If you're paying taxes for services you expect and things you expect your state government to provide, those taxes should not be going to a terrorist group in a foreign country.
House Majority Whip Tom Emmer is referencing this article written by urban policy magazine City Journal, which is published by a conservative think tank, the Manhattan Institute. Citing unnamed sources, the report alleges funding that was supposed to go to state programs to help with housing and feeding people was being stolen. Without specifying an amount, the article claims some of that money was then sent to Somalia through a complex network where it eventually ends up aiding the al-Qaeda-linked terror group.
This is a huge black eye to the nonprofit community. There was lack of oversight. There's criminal intent.
Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar spoke at the state's capitol yesterday with other state leaders. She didn't directly mention the allegations of the report, but responded to Trump's announcement last week that he was terminating temporary protected status for Somalis in the state. Trump writing that Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of Minnesota.
There is not a single evidence that the president or his coonies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abet terrorism. That language is dangerous.
Wow. That's dangerous. What do you know when they talk in absolutes? There is not one bit of evidence. There's nothing. No illegal aliens have gotten any kind of welfare from the American people. They're not voting in our... Shut your mouth. That kind of language is dangerous. Really. So's marrying your brother. Okay, so you've heard about this, right? We've talked about it before. You know that lying on an immigration document it's illegal, it's punishable, and it's punishable by a lot. Marriage fraud under 8 U.S. Code, blah, 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 1325C, or false statements under 18 U.S. Code 1546 can lead to 5 years imprisonment, $250,000 in fines, and supervised release. Well, I think what it should be is you should get booted out of Congress and sent back to Somalia. This, by the way, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know the allegations about Ilhan Omar helping her brother become a citizen or at least get into the country. She lied and said he was her husband. This is Alpha News breaking down a couple minutes of the secrets of Ilhan Omar. Shut up. Threatened into silence, bribery and blackmail, even there? Who knew? By the way, fraud like this triggers lifetime bans from U.S. entry or benefits. It affects family members. In fact, with no waivers, even minor discrepancies on your immigration forms can lead to removal. I'm going to say Ilhan Omar lying on her immigration form or lying about her marriage to her brother would qualify as disqualifying in the House of Representatives. Why is this broad not been bounced? Why isn't her family taken back to Somalia? Tell me. Well, Jake Tapper has an opportunity to sit down and talk to her. One-on-one with Ilhan Omar. Hard-hitting journalism? No. Oh my. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like it's right underneath your nose. Deportation at a minimum. Lifetime ban from ever re-entering the country. You, your spouses, and your children get deported as well. This isn't complicated. You lied. The proof exists. And then the bullying of the Somalian community. As whistleblowers came forward, they were threatened. Or as Ilhan would say, threatened. They were threatened. So curious.
Her
right?
defense is going to be, I didn't consummate the marriage.
Oh, God. Wow. I wasn't even going there. It's all so ridiculous. What's not ridiculous is that you guys have better hit 2,000 rumbles by now. 1.73, you guys, honest to goodness.
Her monologue's going to be about you guys tomorrow. Wow.
I need your help. Let's go. Hit the rumble button. It's a thumbs up button. And while you're there, why wouldn't you hit follow? Duh. Anyway,
Wow,
Ilhan
you got
Omar.
the giggles.
Ilhan Omar is disgusting. She's dirty, right? She's been grifting. I mean, $30 million. Come on, people. You work your whole life. Do you end up with $30 million after you've been working for 40 years? Most of us don't. Ilhan Omar in just a couple years. Oh, it's magic.
No, it's her husband that makes
you
so much.
know.
Where did we hear that before? Nancy Pelosi.
Right. I don't know about my stock trades. That's all on Paul. Paul knows all that. He and the vibrating hammer guy. They know.
You
He got hit in the head. Didn't you see that big thing on his head?
MAGA's
That's rude.
garbage.
Ageist. MAGA's garbage. Let me tell you about Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. You know, this principal protection program that Texas Bullion Exchange offers its clients is something that's very unique. And it locks in the value of your gold. So when it's time for you to sell, you're going to get every bit of what you paid for it or more. Seriously, every bit of it. Principal protection program. When you call them at 855-927-5557, first of all, they're going to be super excited that you're calling, right? And then you're going to be like, wow, this is a really personable person I'm talking to. It's not just some like robot who's like, hello, do you want to buy some gold? They're like, so what are you doing? What do you want? What are you thinking? What are your plans? What is your dream? What are we saving for? What are we working towards? Right? Because they want to be in it with you for the long haul. They want to be with you for 20, 30, 40 years. This is so reasonable. It is just a wonderful business, and it's a really smart way to diversify. It really is gold and silver, and it doesn't take a lot. Whether it's gold coins, gold bars, silver coins, silver bars, silver bricks, silver whatevers, they're all within reach. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com. I do love gold.
So someone, I missed the name, in the chat said their dogs listen to you when you say, let's go, and they run to the door.
Yay!
That's more than Murphy.
Let's go. Oh, come on. Come on. Murphy's like, "Ugh," and
You say, Murphy, let's go.
He's
And
roaming around the neighborhood. I'm like, dude, So we have one of those dog collar things, the electronic ones, that you can give it a bzz, bzz, and it can vibrate. Or if you need to, you could give it a, and he's like, what? And I would usually put that on him when I'm outside with him, just in the yard, foostering in the yard and whatnot. Well, while Joe and I were gone in Lancaster, paying 100, getting ass raped on the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Oh, wow.
On the Pennsylvania Turnpike, somebody lost the receiver of the bzz, bzz, so now I've got nothing to bzz, bzz him with. And it's like freaking open season for Murphy to go wherever he wants. Bad dog. And he knows too much. You're a bad dog. But they're dumb, right? They forget in 10 seconds why they're bad dogs.
You say bad dog, and then probably 10 minutes later, you're like,
you're still a bad dog.
Yeah,
no,
I'm going to kiss on you, but you're still a bad dog.
No, I don't. No. If you're naughty, you're naughty. I'm not there to make it better. Naughty.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty.
Bad dog. Here's your Dr. Martens.
That's not true. Well, maybe that's true. All right, Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. If you live in Pennsylvania, if you live in Pittsburgh, these are your people. Look, the whole exterior renovation project is daunting. It's expensive. It's messy. It's time consuming. You don't have to do it tomorrow, but you can call today and say, hey, can I talk to you about a project I'd like to work on? And then Diane or whomever is answering is going to be like, absolutely. You want to come into our showroom? Do you want us to come to you? How do you want to do this? Let's talk for sure. And then you get the seeds, and then you start thinking about it and saving and planning. And then when it's finally time to pull the trigger, it's like there are no surprises. That's the joy of Ireland Contracting. They're not like, oh, we found something and that's going to be an extra $30,000. It's not who you are. It's not what they do. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Anything on the outside of your house, just not electrical stuff.
Not until when?
Just not until now. Not until spring. That's not true because he can work inside, but
selfish.
So the title of today's program here on the Wendy Bell Radio Network, and welcome back, everybody. The title of the show is Enemy of the State. And Brock very shrewdly created a beautiful thumbnail for it if you're watching on the live video stream on Rumble or on our app. And it's CNN. It's CNN, basically, Enemy of the State. This is why. What you're about to hear is about 4.5 minutes of a 6-minute interview with Ilhan Omar. Jake Tapper, the hack, you know, the guy who is peddling a book, who promises, I never knew Joe Biden was incompetent and not there. I thought he was great. And then all of a sudden we saw the debate. And here's my book. Why don't you buy it? And it's like, Jake, you're so much of a hack. He's got Ilhan Omar. He's got the congresswoman from Minnesota who is a Somali citizen, an American now, who represents this district where all of a sudden we've got 80,000 Somalians living. You know, culturally speaking, that isn't a success story. That's not a success story. You don't just flood an environment with thousands upon thousands of people from a different country, let alone a different hemisphere and culture, right? And put them where you are and be like, okay, everybody get along. And what ended up happening? Well, the people of Minnesota and the American taxpayers got fleeced for what could be up to $10 billion. What did they do? Ran a bunch of different frauds, schemes, bilking money from the COVID relief funds that you and I all knew when they were like, oh, yay, $3.5 trillion. We're $35 trillion in debt. This makes perfect sense. We're like, what are you doing? Why would any Republican vote for that? You're inviting all of the jazz that we have. And so now you've got an explosion of indictments. I think we're up to like 86. Ilhan says a different number, but I don't think she's correct. They're like 86 different criminal indictments, of which 92% of the defendants are Somalian. I don't know. I don't think you need like to lead me to the water for me to see it. It's obviously a scheme connected in this community. Okay. We know this. It's egregious. It's outrageous. DOJ now, we're going to criminally investigate. What did Tim Walz know? Apparently, he knew about all of this because whistleblowers in the Department of Health and Human Services there were like, Governor Walz, dating back to like 2020, 2021. We got issues in this community, and he didn't do anything about it. So Jake Tapper has Ilhan Omar on to ostensibly answer to these charges that the Somalian community has been ripping off America. And President Trump is like, get all of them out. All of them. I don't care. All of them. And take Ilhan Omar with you. These people are garbage, he said. And they got offended by that. If you're ripping off the American people, you are garbage. If you're a narco-terrorist scooting across the sea in a fast boat, you are garbage. If you are a senator or a congressperson and you're aware of it and you do nothing to stop it, you are garbage. So Jake Tapper has this great opportunity. Let's see what he does with it. Let's see how he holds her feet to the fire. Are you part of this? What do you know about these criminal enterprises? I mean, some of this fraud is egregious. One person is accused of bilking the system of $250 million. What? And then we know that there were bribery schemes to bribe jurors in some of this litigation. Oh my gosh, Congresswoman, this does not look good for you or the Somalian people in your district. Like, how do you defend this? Now, is that what he said? No, that's not what he said. Let's hear what he said.
First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases closely as they've gone through the courts, and we know that there are more indictments possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Her answer was 12 seconds. It gave no details, and Jake Tapper is completely happy with that. Oh, okay. That's it. That soundbite, question and answer, wasn't even a question. What do you know? Well, how much time do you have, Jake? All I know is that more people are getting indicted. Oh, okay. There's Jake Tapper. There is your fake news. That is the enemy of the state. That is a guy who is supposed to be asking the questions on our behalf for news value. There's no news value there, and it gets worse. Well, gee whiz, Jake. How did this happen? Well, she's going to say it's COVID's fault. There's no culpability among the Somalian people. There's no culpability by Tim Walz or his administration. It's COVID's fault. COVID created scam opportunities. And, there were no guardrails to stop it. That is it. Listen.
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Didn't you vote for all those, Ilhan Omar? Yeah, you did. So everything that we were saying while you people were celebrating, yay, you'll have to pass it to see what's in it. While we were saying, what are you doing? You have absolutely no oversight. You're going to print money. You're going to screw the American, not just you and me, our grandchildren and children. You're going to saddle our kids with the debt of your fraud that you in Congress voted for? Are you out of your mind? She says it's COVID's fault. Well, you give an opportunity. Other people are going to take an opportunity. That's it. That's the deep probing that Jake Tapper has. There's no, are you guilty? What's your role in all of this? Have you played a role, Congresswoman, in this rampant fraud among your native people in your district? And what about James O'Keefe's expose about all the voting scams in the same area? You've been named in that too. Guilty? Innocent? What is it? Nope. We're not going to say that. Here's where Jake's bleeding heart, liberal, sanctimonious, do-goodery self comes out. Trump is shockingly bigoted for calling out the Somalians. Shockingly bigoted for saying the community that is ripping off the American taxpayer is garbage. Oh, Jake.
Whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people. Okay, I want to make that very clear. President Trump has used this fraud to make rather, to me, shockingly bigoted comments about Somalis in general, including you, but the entire Somali community in Minnesota. He did it yesterday and he did it again today. Let's run some of that.
She should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople, okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
It's pretty shocking to hear it, although I don't know how shocked you are at this point anymore. But Somali immigrants, in general, you in particular, have been the target of his attacks for a long time.
The American people have been targets, Jake. They've ripped us off coming and going. Why do you never care about that? Because you're an enemy of the state. Your network is an enemy of the people of these United States. The same way Rand Paul is when he falls on the sword for the poor narco-terrorists who are getting obliterated. All they wanted to do was get their drugs to our shore and make some money. I mean, the insanity of it all. Oh my goodness, gravy. What has happened to these people? Or is it just that only now we're getting to see the true picture? So I'm sure she's got a fantastic answer. Listen to this well-trained Democrat pivot. She's not going to talk about any kind of culpability in the community. It's all about how she's a victim. Big, bad Trump covering up for his own failures. You know, how he's bringing in trillions of dollars of investment. You know, shutting down the border and all the human trafficking. You know, knocking off all of the drug transports. All of those failures. Ilhan, who married her brother. Let's listen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself.
Do you notice the pivot? Stop talking about what the question really is. And always turn it around on Donald Trump. It's his fault. He's doing this. He's doing that. I'm actually a victim, not him. Oh, my gosh. It's so obvious. And in 20 seconds, she just telegraphed it for us. She continues. And this is what I think is very interesting. Listen to what Ilhan Omar says are the three failures of this Trump administration in its first 11 months. These are going to be points you're going to hear the Democrat Party harp on endlessly, trying to make the case to sully the Republicans ahead of the midterms. Here you go.
We know that this administration has not fulfilled the majority of the promises that they've made, whether it is bringing costs down, whether it is the tariffs that are decimating businesses in the United States, whether it is the possible war crimes that his defense secretary is committing. And so to me, it is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue to be in this country. And two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
Minnesotans are resilient. We'll continue to rip you off until you stop us. So don't try me. Very interesting. Now, this is a great point for Jake to step in and be like, I could ask you if you personally have gotten rich off of these Somalian scams. I mean, you are worth $30 million, but I'm not going to ask you that. I'm going to say this instead.
What is the practical impact when a president of the United States demonizes an entire group of people based on ethnicity? And again, You can point to any ethnic group and find dozens of people in that ethnic group who are committing a particular crime. The mafia comes to mind, right? But no one, you don't hear people saying that about Italians. They did 100 years ago, but they don't do it today. What is the practical effect on the Somali community when the president says things like that?
You know what? I'm going to squeeze her in real fast. Always the victims. Here's Ilhan Omar. We're just poor, meek people. Oh.
I mean, it creates fear. There is a possible danger that a lot of the people who follow the president have exhibited violence in many cases, especially in my case, whenever he has said something about me that is derogatory or says I'm a threat to the country. I've gotten death threats. There's so many people that have been incarcerated over the years that have been encouraged by the president's words. And so there is fear for Somalis, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, that some of these people might attack and harm them.
You know what my question would be? It's got to be so embarrassing. It's got to be so horrifying to be Somalian and know your people are ripping off the Americans blind. How do you respond to that, Congresswoman? Right? Wow. Now, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I want to flash back a little bit to something Ilhan Omar said, right? That you're stupid. Oh, yeah. I think that sells, doesn't it? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. What's it like to be targeted?
See, what they don't understand is that we don't need Trump to tell us you're garbage. We already knew that.
We already don't want you here. Period. I don't look at you in the airport and think melting pot. I look at you in the airport and say, why are you here? Why are you here? Oh, that's un-American. No, we've had enough. Did you hear the report about the Biden administration changing the rules to allow low-level Taliban people to come into the country? Thousands of them. But they're low level. I mean, they weren't like instrumental calling the shots, murdering people. But they're with the Taliban. And we're going to change some rules so they can come in. I mean, just welcome allies. Come on in. Where are these people now? I don't know. Where are all the unaccompanied migrant children? 450,000. Got it. All right. Best sleep of your life. First thing I said to Brock this morning. What did I say?
I slept like a boulder.
I slept like a boulder. I woke up at 2:29. My alarm goes off at 2:30. And I sat up and I went, I had not gotten up. I had not hardly moved. I literally went to bed like Joe Biden in his hyperbaric chamber when he's got his CPAP machine on and he's like, right? And they're like pumping all sorts of stuff on him and we're told he's on vacation. That is how I sleep with this. Now, is it beneficial that during the day, the benefits are crazy, that you have endurance and energy and stamina and strength and a go-getter attitude and perseverance and all of that? Yeah, it's kind of annoying because yesterday I was a freaking Energizer bunny. I was like, well, maybe I'll clean the stove. Well, maybe I'll hang the garlands. Oh, maybe I'll fix the Christmas lights. Oh, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll go up in the attic.
Maybe I'll move the couch.
Maybe I'll move the couch. And I'll clean and I'll vacuum all of the cushions and get all of the niblets underneath the cushions. That was what I did because of this. Look, do not take Blood Flow 7 if you want to be more active and sleep better. Do if you'd really like that. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If you've got a guy in your life, if you're a woman and you have a husband, you've got a son, something like this, there's two of you, male and female, because we do know biology, get the pack with the two. Alpha Gold male, that's what he's taking. It's good for men, testosterone, all of that. Special formula for the fellas. This is for anybody. And so this is the one I take. Just regular Blood Flow 7 from Juvenon. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's ridiculously priced. It's less than $1 a day for you both to be on it. That's nutty. And you'll be like, I'm telling you, I'm sure I get up to go to the bathroom, but I have no memory of it. I levitate to the potty, and then I zip back, and I'm like, best
Do you
sleep you'll ever have.
levitate over the potty? Because if you don't,
I don't sprinkle when I tinkle. Let's just say that.
no, your problem is
Please be neat and wipe the seat. That's one of those things that you get posted on the ladies' room. What are you alleging, by the way? Oh my gosh, it's Murphy's birthday today. That's right. Oh, he's 9 today. That's how big he was.
He's a bad dog.
Look at it. Look at Joe with his mountain man beard. Oh wait, you can't tell. Hold on. Oh, he's so cute. Look at that beard. Not as gray as yours, Brock.
Well,
that was 10 years ago. 9 years ago. Oh, happy birthday, Murphy. You bad boy.
Yeah, bad dog.
9 years old today. To ask a meaningful question of Ilhan Omar last night. Jake Tapper used his time to turn the tables and claim that President Trump is the mean, terrible person, not the invaders, not the people from a foreign country who've been stealing from you and from me, but Donald Trump for calling them out for being the garbage that they are. It's racist, it's xenophobic, it's bigoted. I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. Shut up, Jake. You are such a hack. He's Terry Moran, right? Aren't these people coming out so much more clearly to you? You know who they are. You know what they represent. These are not people who are going to give you news. These are people who are going to give you bias. They're going to give you propaganda because they're deep state liberal activists. Period. That's who they are. Now, I remember this. I remember Ilhan Omar back in the day, it wasn't that long ago, when she basically said that the American people who voted for Donald Trump are stupid, that there's no reasoning with MAGA. We're just too dumb to understand what's going on. They really don't want Trump to drain the swamp, do they?
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Wow. So let me get this straight. You came to this country ostensibly to get away from what Somalia is. Poor, corrupt, riddled by natural disasters, famine, drought, all of that. You came to the chosen land where you decided to grift and connive and enrich yourself. In 6 years, she's gotten a 66,000% return on her investments. I mean, she started in Congress in 2019 with negative $45,000. May of this year, her recent financial disclosure shows she has a net worth of over $30 million. Who, maybe she's right. Maybe we are stupid because we haven't investigated that enough. People get away with it all the time. Why? You couldn't. I couldn't. Well, you guys remember that story? It was last summer, 2024. The BBC had it. We talked about it. 5 people charged in a jury bribe plot. This is in the infancy of this Feeding Our Future scam. And some of the first people, Somalians, of course, to be fingered in this whole scam, were on trial. And the youngest, and I think she was a black juror, and the Somalis who allegedly tried to bribe her by depositing a bag of $120,000 on her doorstep. Do you guys remember that? Because I do. This is so much bigger than I think any of us could possibly fathom. Sort of like what Donald Trump pulled when he took the Band-Aid off the gaping wound called Joe Biden's America, I'm not so sure he was ready for the infection that would be found underneath. This is why they tried to kill him. When you're swimming in money and that becomes your lifestyle, and you buy diamonds and Louis Vuitton handbags and cars and property and top of the line this and that, you get really used to the nice things. And then when somebody comes down a golden escalator and says, you know what? It's going to end. We're going to make America first again. They become your enemy. Ilhan, Jake, what dirtbags. When we come back, hour 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, it's the deep state's last line of defense. It's your activist judges. How about the judge that overturned that case? Oh, it was a Somalian couple who stole millions of dollars from us? What? Yeah, let's talk about that next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Let's talk about the stuff that Jake Tapper doesn't want to talk about. Donald Trump, he's so bigoted.
Well, you know what kills me about these people is that the Terry Morans get irate, and Jake Tapper's, he called them garbage. Well, so did Joe Biden. He called all MAGA supporters garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the same word. Literally the same word.
Yeah, but
crickets.
you're a bunch of white people.
Yeah, right.
It's a bunch of white rednecks.
But how many of us? Joe Biden calls me garbage. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've been called a lot worse by better. It's so frustrating that they just
suck.
Yes. Good. Thank you for finishing that, because I was.
It's hard to truly emphasize the degree of disdain that I have for people who are dark and dirty. I don't understand it. I think I saw, did you see Hillary Clinton last night as you were watching Fox? He and I were both at our individual homes, and we were both trying to pay attention because we knew Trump was going to come out and say something. And we didn't know what the issue was, didn't know it was rolling back of these fuel efficiency standards, and all of the big automakers were in the Oval Office with him yesterday. So we're both individually watching. I'm vacuuming the cushions because of...
Yeah, me too.
Because of these people. And and here comes Hillary Clinton. Oh my God.
She's another one.
What happened to her face?
Well,
I think the reason why I say this isn't to be nitpicky about getting older, because we all get older. It's going to happen to me as well. It's just the way it goes. But that I believe that after a while, the ugliness that you are inside manifests itself on your body. I think it absolutely cripples you. I think it absolutely punishes your brain. And I think it takes your face and it puts you through a freaking meat grinder. That and adrenochrome. Other than that, I got nothing.
Well, it's so hard for us. I think the fraud continues for so long because we wouldn't do it.
No.
So you automatically think when you're the guy that tries to do the right thing and you wouldn't do it, you fail to see it until you're smacked in the face with it. And
I think the problem is good people,
like, oh my gosh,
good people would never even imagine it. And so it's beyond the realm of capability. You know,
and then wrapping your head around it then is nearly impossible.
I want to tell you guys about Genucel, because when you order right now from Genucel, you're going to get a box, and inside the box is this bag. Inside that bag is this. And these are the goodies that come with your 70% off their amazing skincare products. So they've got their jawline. This is a huge place. Like I can already tell, like it's happening. It is what it is, whatever, right? I can deal with that. But if I can slow down the hands of time, I will. Their jawline treatment to tighten and tone and contour your neck and jawline. Also, when you order today, Genucel will include their immediate effects for results you can see in minutes, not hours. Plus, the top-selling Genucel Deep Firming Vitamin C Serum is included in the Essentials package. So if you treat yourself to this holiday to 10 years off your appearance, The difference is guaranteed or 100% of your money back. That's unusual. That is a big claim from a very successful company. If you don't think you look better, we will give you your money back. That's pretty amazing. Shipping is free. And if you use my name, Wendy, they're going to give you their classic under eye bags and puffiness treatment. I used it today. I have bags and puffiness. I'm 55. It is what it is. It's not a magic serum, but it certainly helps. I'm going to tell you. And they're going to get an extra 10% off plus free shipping. Isn't it free shipping? I think it's free shipping. That's crazy. If it's not free shipping, at least it's 10% off. Right? Genucell.com/Wendy, promo code Wendy. You get all of this, right? All of it. And these things last 6 months. Are you looking to give somebody the gift of beautiful skin or the fun of trying to get it? Why not do it with 70 plus 10%, 80% off? And this is the brand I love. Not greasy, not stinky. Genucell.com/Wendy. Use my promo code Wendy. Get 10% off. 100% money back guarantee. That's like serious. Let's see. Ooh, next week. Holy smokes. Do we have a full schedule next week? We have 16 reads next week already.
Wow.
CB Distillery. Chef IQ.
Nice.
Dang. And Lean. 3 of my all-time favorites. I love that. I love that because of you, our sponsors come back. And they're like, let's try that again. I like that.
Even the national ones, which is the huge ones.
We've had the same local sponsors for 4 years.
ACCR1, $5. Last week I shared with my 10-year-old granddaughter how I watch WBR daily and tear up when I hear America in pledge. Thank you for conversation starter pride, not just on 7-4. $5. Or Gerald 65, $10. Your fabulosity and sassiness is so brilliant, it's burning my eyes. Ouch. Okay.
Do you have a gelatinous mass on your eye?
Right.
Mine's getting better. I made that appointment at the eye doctor guy.
That's because your eye was threatened. It's like, I'm not going.
See, and then it started getting better. How cute of people, though. They're like, I think what you have is called a pincula or something like that. Whatever it's called. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's called stank eye.
It's not. It's called I was doing yard work. I did 10 bags of leaves. And then I slept like a rock.
Boulder.
Damn you. I'm telling you, this stuff is magic. That's gold right there, baby. All right, come on. Can we get some love? I need some love. Big time love. 2.44. 60 people in the next minute. Can we get 60 to get to 2.5? Help a sister out. And the eye mask. Rumble if you want my eye mask to go away.
Eye.
It's not.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time, and sending the left a big bag of Durbans. She once gave a filibuster only using punchlines. The teleprompter reads from her notes. The Constitution asked her for an autograph. She once ended an argument before it began. Even her coffee leans right. She once fact-checked the fact-checkers, and they issued her a retraction. She doesn't get shadow banned. Shadows ask her permission. She convinced the border wall to build itself. She once lowered inflation with a coupon. Her radio delay button runs ahead of her, just in case. Wendy Bell, she is the most interesting conservative woman in the world. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. So, I got to say, there is a final line of defense. When the Ilhan Omars of the world, who bring in tens of thousands of her native homeland Somalians, come to the land of opportunity, come here, and they all grift off of us, and they're all driving, Mercedes and dripping in Louis and all of that. We're like, that's weird. Considering in Somalia, like 50% of the people are illiterate. Right? What's going on here? Well, when that fails, when those people get busted, when their rings get obliterated, and ultimately people should face justice, what's the deep state's final line of defense? Got to have an activist judge on the bench, don't you? You got to have somebody who's going to make sure that no matter what a jury of somebody's peers decides, you can take your magic wand, poof, and completely eviscerate it. That's what's going on. And now, this Democrat-appointed judge is under fire for tossing a $7 million Medicaid fraud conviction tied to a Minnesota couple's lavish lifestyle. What do you want to bet this couple is Somalian? Oh, bing, 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 bing. A Minnesota judge is under scrutiny for overturning a $7.2 million fraud conviction of a couple who were found guilty, again, by a jury, again, of their peers who deliberated for only 5 hours, right? She overturned their $7.2 million fraud conviction. Right? They were found guilty of misappropriating Medicaid funds to support their lavish lifestyle of fancy cars and designer clothes. Abdifata Yusuf, 44, was charged in June of 2024, found guilty this past August after he and his wife were accused of stealing millions of dollars from Minnesota's Medicaid program while running a healthcare business out of their home. It's so preposterous, according to a release from the Minnesota Attorney General's office. Yusuf was found guilty of 6 counts of aiding and abetting theft by swindle by a jury. But Judge Sarah West, a triggered activist, white college-educated, toxic liberal chick, the scourge of American society, overturned the conviction in mid-November. We told you about that. Well, now we're paying closer attention to this broad. West was appointed by Governor Tim Walz's predecessor, Mark Dayton, in July of 2018, according to an archived release by the governor. The judge wrote that her choice to overturn the case, quote, relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and asserted that the state didn't rule out other possible reasonable interferences. So this judge is saying, of all possible things that could have happened, there still are some pie in the sky things that we haven't fully explored. And so maybe they're not totally guilty. So, yeah, I'm going to say no. Nope. Jury, nope. I overrule you. You are no longer guilty, sir. Go out, go forth, and prosper. That's un-American. That is an enemy of the state. That is an activist judge, last line of defense for the Democrats, who will stop at nothing to invite people to our country to grift, to scam, to steal, to rob, to murder, to infect, and to kill American people. Yusuf and his 41-year-old wife, Lol Ahmed, operated their, quote, business for years out of a mailbox. But the husband was using Medicaid money behind the scenes to fund their lavish lifestyle. Shut up. The couple frequently went on shopping sprees at luxury clothing stores, ranging from Coach to Nike. I don't know if those are really luxury, but okay. Yusuf funneled more than $1 million from their business to his personal account and withdrew over $387,000 in cash, according to the release. Many Minnesotans, including members of the case's jury, were appalled by West's decision to overturn the convictions. It was not a difficult decision whatsoever, foreman juryman Ben Walfort told the outlet. This is the New York Post. The deliberation took probably 4 hours at most, he said. Based off of the state's evidence that was presented, it was beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, like, we're going to have, here's a picture of the mailbox, right? This is where the fraud happened. Here's copies of all of the documents that were fraudulent. This is the lack of actual medical care they provided anybody. Here's all of their fancy clothing, and here are all of the bank withdrawals and transfer data to show you, my, they did very well for themselves in a short period of time. Guilty. Not so fast there, jury foreman, right? Yusuf's attorney told the New York Post that the judge's move, quote, affirms that her client was wrongfully accused. Sort of like Ilhan Omar. I did not marry my husband more than once, right? Stealing money meant for poor people's health care and using it to buy luxury cars and designer clothes is as shameful and disgraceful as it gets. Minnesotans believe in helping our neighbors, but we have no patience for fraudsters like Abdel Yusuf, who abuse that generosity to enrich themselves. It's the Minnesota Attorney General's office. Of course, Keith Ellison is there. So why ever would it be that we would have an activist judge turn the conviction around? Well, why was it that we had a judge who tipped off the illegal alien in the gallery waiting to go before her that ICE agents were in the hallway outside of her chambers and said, "Psst, come here. Illegal alien guy who broke our laws to come into this country, who's clearly done something criminal because he's in my courtroom. Get over here. Hurry. All right, here's the back door. Hurry, make a run for it." Remember that? This is what they have. And by the way, there's a woman, the people in Minnesota, specifically Hennepin County, where all of this is going on, a prosecutor named Mary Moriarty. She's down with all of this. So you need the judges, you need the prosecutors to say, you know, we don't really think that you're guilty. And so therefore, even though you've been credibly accused of raping a 15-year-old, after you were credibly accused of raping another woman, and you were credibly accused of raping another woman, you know, I don't really think that that means you're guilty. So we're going to let you hang around for a while, and then you can go out and reoffend. This is how you get people like that whack job and legit whack job he was, DeCarlos Brown Jr., who did what he did to Irina Zarutska on that train, sliced her across the throat multiple times. He was well known to law enforcement, and the judge in that case had made him sign a note saying that he was going to reappear. We're not going to give you an ankle monitor. You are a crazy person. We've arrested you dozens of times. You've been cycled through our courts dozens of times. We believe you're a danger to society, but, you know, I can't put in prison everybody. So just do me a favor. Sign this note and tell me that you promise, super duper promise, pinky swear, that you'll come back in 6 months and appear before me. And then what did he do? To Irina Zarutska. These people don't just have blood on their hands. They put each and every single one of us in danger. Kind of like Rand Paul, worrying more about the narco-terrorists who want to poison our land and kill our sons and daughters than he cares at all about you or me. Isn't it about time people who believe in America, serve in the positions to keep America safe, Well, we can say now these judges, the scandal emerging, judicial reform is necessary, and now you've got people on the case. This is me holding my breath, thinking anything's going to happen. Every time these people are allowed to bounce back onto the streets and reoffend is another punch in your eye and more proof that progressive whack jobs don't care about you and are enemies of the state. When we come back, let's go into Mary Moriarty. Let's talk about this Hennepin County prosecutor, well known for what she does. Not for you, though. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Fox is reporting the alleged DC pipe bomb arrested about 90 minutes ago in Virginia by the FBI. Expected to appear in court today. His identity has still not been released.
I thought it was a chick.
What's that?
I thought it was a woman.
So did I.
That's such a dumb story, by the way.
You have to be more specific.
It's just such a dumb take on anything. You know? What? That thing that looks like the egg timer in my kitchen is going to blow up and detonate and kill us all? Come on. Don't you hate everybody? I mean, yeah, I do too. All right. Who do we want to talk about? So, Healthy Cell, I'm going to give you some that's just in. They're dropping a new formula. And I'm going to say it's going to be of particular benefit for women. I'm not going to tell you all about it yet because I don't have all the talking points, but I love companies that take their success, and this is Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell developing microgel supplementation. So instead of swallowing pills or capsules, and there's a subset of the population that really struggles with that. Beyond that, it's not an effective way to get supplements into your system, which is why Dr. Dubiak goes right into the IVs, goes right into your vein and delivers to you the supplements that you need that your blood test shows you, right? But Healthy Cell goes in this microgel formula so that it's 165% more absorbed than if you were to take a tablet or a pill. And boils down to your body changes, and it's harder for your stomach, for your gut to process some of these pills and tablets. So the formulas are phenomenal. I tell you all the time about them, but they're for a company to not just sit back and do well on what it's doing and be like, that's good enough, but rather to reinvest in research and development. Let's listen to what our customers are demanding or wanting and suggesting we make. Let's go put in the time, do the research, create the right formulation, and then deliver it to the people to help with something that I think a lot of women in particular suffer from. So it's coming. Healthycell.com/Wendy. 20% off your first order. I don't know why you wouldn't just be like, put it all in your cart. 20% off healthycell.com/Wendy. I take the focus and recall. Every daggone day. This is it. Super easy. Tear it. Slurp it in. And this is delicious. This is my peach pineapple flavor. All of their flavors are delicious. And they all help. So I love Healthy Cell. Healthycell.com/Wendy. I think you will so enjoy it. This is demonstrable. You feel a change in yourself, like the cobwebs disappear. I love it. And when I have the go ahead to give you the details on the new blend, you might be like, "Ooh, how you doing?" Michael took back some REM sleep.
I slept like a boulder last night, too.
REM sleep, he was like, it's the real deal. I'm like, I know, bro. He's like, he's struggling. Ryan's been struggling.
Merry Christmas.
So, yeah, they're getting Healthy Cell and they're getting Alpha Gold Juvenon. I already ordered it. I should just order it for all my kids, but I don't think the younger boys, I don't think they need it. But the old farts.
Wow.
Well, I don't think Newsmax is on us.
I haven't checked. I will give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down about that.
Thank you. This is a news report. program, this Minnesota justice. Well, they've allowed another Somali immigrant to rape multiple women, including a 15-year-old girl this guy met on Snapchat, and never spend a single day in jail. It's not bad enough that the open borders under Joe Biden's auto pen welcomed thousands of people from a vastly different culture, vastly different place on planet Earth, who've come to this country. Are all of them criminals? No. Is there a serious problem with the Somalian citizens in Minnesota? Yes. Are they garbage for ripping off the American people? You damn well better believe it. Listen to this story and tell me if justice isn't all but lost.
Man out on probation for sexual assault is charged once again. This time, prosecutors say he picked up a woman he met on Snapchat and raped her at a hotel in Bloomington.
Now, prosecutors once called this man an extreme public safety risk, but he never spent a day in prison for his previous crimes. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni joining us from our newsroom now. And Mike, prosecutors signed off on plea deals in these previous cases.
Kelsey and Randy, a judge sentenced the Minneapolis man in those cases back in May, but he got credit for time served, so he never went to prison. It was all part of a pair of plea deals. This is the man we're talking about. His name is Abdemahat Billy Muhammad, but prosecutors say the 28-year-old uses the names Kareem and Altesto on Snapchat, and that is where investigators say he met his latest victim as well as his two previous ones. Prosecutors say he picked up his most recent victim in Mankato back in September and drove her to a hotel near the Mall of America, where he took her phone, told her she wasn't leaving, raped her, and held her against her will for days. That's according to prosecutors. Investigators used DNA to identify Muhammad as the suspect. His profile was already in the database from previous cases involving sexual assaults in Minneapolis in 2017 and another one in 2024. A Hennepin County judge sentenced Muhammad in May in those cases, including one involving a 15-year-old girl. Prosecutors say two other unidentified men took part in that assault, and one threatened the victim with a gun. But Muhammad never spent a day in prison, as we said, because he got credit for time served while awaiting trial as part of a pair of plea deals. We've reached out to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for comment. A spokesman there told us it is checking into it.
It is checking into it. What we really want to do is talk to the prosecutor on the case, who is Mary Moriarty. Who is your, I don't know, is she an LGBTQIA plus represented member of the activist judge gang for the left? Because it kind of feels like that. So this guy brings in two other men. It's obviously a gang rape. Time served. So he goes out and does it again. I know you didn't mean it. So he goes out and does it. Well, I mean, garbage. That is called garbage. Donald Trump is right. These people who do these things are garbage. And if you can't see that, I don't know what to do for you. This is Mary Moriarty, the prosecutor who allows all of these plea deals that allow this guy, Mohammed, to bounce back onto the street to then rape women.
This is Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty. There are reports that the Trump administration is planning to send ICE agents here to the Twin Cities to target our neighbors of Somali descent. This is part of a recent pattern to single out our Somali community members. This is rooted in the idea that if they spew hatred, it will divide us. But we won't let that happen. There are no roving gangs of Somali people in this community harassing, threatening, doing anything to any of our community members. And let me repeat that again, because I've heard this often. There are no roving gangs of Somalis targeting or harassing or doing anything inappropriate to any community members. Those are simply lies. It is not true. Our office at the Hennepin County Attorney's Office here will not assist in any way, shape, or form in any of these ICE raids. From our small business owners to our healthcare workers, to our Lyft and Uber drivers, to children growing up in Cedar Riverside and families shopping at the Carmel Mall, our Somali community members are what makes Minneapolis one of the finest places in the world to live. We will not let Trump's hatred divide us. We will stand side by side with our Somali community members.
Guys, white, college-educated, liberal chicks, scourge of our society. What happened to you, Mary? I know you're not a dumb person. Do you understand what you're saying? Is your white privilege and guilt eating you alive from the inside out so to make good because you're weak inside? Because you've been groomed, you've been convinced that you owe something to people who are endangering the people in your society, who are raping them. It's not hyperbole, Mayor. It's fact. You have the facts. There are no roaming. You've been all over Minneapolis. Is that right, Mayor? Really? Or have you been marching with your rainbow flag down the street with your Somali neighbors? Kumbaya. Garbage. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, President Trump nixes Joe Biden's fuel efficiency standards. I mean, that's a good thing, but I want to look at all those automakers and be like, why didn't you speak out years ago? Willows? Next. I'm a little fussy now. There are none. There are zero. There is no evidence. There is zip.
Well, she should just change her language.
Really?
There's no roving gangs to there's no roving tribes. Because that's where they come from. They come from tribes. In Somalia, they hang in tribes. So you're right, Mary. Maybe they're not gangs, but they're sure as hell tribes. And Louis Vuitton, by the way, is and Nike book bags are a considerable upgrade when you're used to carrying a basket on your head.
Well said, my trusty friend. Well said. That just pisses me off. So there is something about white, college-educated, liberal women. Something happens to them that doesn't affect men the same way. There are some whack jobs, but they don't have testicles. There are some of them out there who get crazy like this too, but it's almost an exclusive white, college-educated, liberal woman mentality. They've been convinced that they owe, that they, in order to atone for their whiteness, for their privilege, for all of the things that they have that other people don't have, they've got to bend over backwards like Gumby and contort into wild positions nobody can make to accommodate and excuse criminal behavior. I just did it. That's it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Dr.
Tomorrow off?
Dr. Simkovich, Dr. Charles Simkovich. I want you to think about that now. Close your eyes. I know some of you actually just did, and I love you for it. Close your eyes and imagine that name, Dr. Charles Simkovich. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. What Dr. Simkovich does is give you hope. That's half the battle, right? Like if you go into something believing you can do it, it's a whole different ball game than when you go into something believing that you can't. Dr. Simkovich, without surgery, there is no blood, there are no machines, nobody's cutting into you, there's no needles. It's his hands feeling around all of the various elements of your soft palate, and all of his treatment to remedy traumatic brain injury and concussion revolves around something called your sphenoid process. And he diagrams it all for you as he's manipulating certain things that he feels. So when you go to Dr. Simkovich with a concussion, with traumatic brain injury, he says, you know what, we're going to do this. I need you to carve out 3 or 4 days from work. And you're like, and he's like, look, do it. Come in for several hours each day and go home, not just hopeful, but healed. Okay. I'll take a couple vacation days or sick days for that. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. You have chronic headaches? Let him fix you. You don't have to be concussed. You just have to be suffering, and that's no way to suffer. Headaches are the worst. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. 412-366-3700.
Aunt Mel 971 $50. Happy birthday to Murphy and me. Thank you, Wendy and Brock, for all you do. May 2026 be your best year ever.
That is so awesome.
Well, happy birthday, Aunt Mel, who's now everyone's aunt.
Aunt Mel, thank you and happy birthday. I love that. We should play Who Let the Dogs Out or something. No, it's gay. Sorry. Anyway,
That's
I love
for
that.
Saturdays.
That was very nice. Thank you so much. All right. We got big news from Dr. Dubiak. BodybyAim360.com. Our genetic tests are in. I've been telling you about this. Genetic testing like you've never had before. You don't have to go into his office. You don't need to park. You don't need to take time off of work. You go to bodybyAim360.com and you see the QR code and you scan it. And it walks you through a process. Do you want to test your genetics? Do you want to see what your propensity is to develop any number of health ailments or cognitive problems down the road? Because they can test for that. The most extensive genetic testing around. And the detail, I'm almost a little nervous to get the results. This can be yours. BodybyAim360.com. None of this stuff is sold. Nobody gets your data. It's private. You get an idea, like a percentage chance. Am I going to develop Alzheimer's like my grandma? Do I have a predisposed propensity for obesity? How about addiction? Can you be predisposed to addiction? Yeah, you can. All these things it tests you for, and it gives you like a definable percentage. It's crazy. Not to mention, if this is a little too like, I get it. Their holiday weight loss stuff is off the grid. 412-227-9255. 412-227-9255. The genetic testing. It's state of the art. This is next level. Next level. BodybyAim360.com. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. We heard yesterday that the president was planning on an Oval Office press conference or some kind of an address. And both Brock and I were interested in that. It was supposed to be at 2:30 or something, ended up being at 4. So he's fashionably late, but I think it's a valuable thing that he's doing. My one takeaway, we've been speaking with common sense. And yes, common sense, conservative values since the beginning. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And I don't care. They can suck it. It's not my concern. I tell you what I think is the truth. If I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. I haven't had to tell you that a lot, have I? Because the world in which we live does not make sense. It was not supposed to. But you are supposed to be bullied into going along with it like a beach ball on the ocean, bobbing along, moving with the waves, not being too alert, and certainly not speaking up about the lunacy of these dumb ideas. Did anybody out there think it was a good idea when Stellantis, owner of Jeep, maker of Jeep, went full hook, line, and sinker into the EV garbage, and they're like, we're not going to make any more gas-powered cars? I'm like, really? I'm going to go off-roading in my husband's, 6-speed Jeep Wrangler somewhere and I'm going to lose my battery? Where am I going to charge? About those charging stations. Those are super cost-effective. Where's the grid for this? If everybody and his brother is going to all in, hurry up, let's hop in that car. It was dumb. They had to know it was dumb. It was not feasible. It was financially possible. And there wasn't infrastructure for it. And they all knew it. And yet they're like, okay, let's go do that. Well, who the hell are you, Ford CEO guy? Who are you, Stellantis CEO guy, puffing up his chest? This new policy to roll back these fuel efficiency standards just makes sense. Where were you? Because you weren't on the phone with Pete Buttigieg or Joe Biden, who was in his hyperbaric chamber during his presidency that wasn't, saying this is the dumbest crap I've ever heard. But you should have. Why didn't you? If you knew it was unattainable, why did you say, yeah, yay, woohoo, that's what we're going to do? I have a hard time looking at these dudes standing behind the president, the resolute desk. Especially the Ford CEO guy who's like, we're the biggest makers of the blah, blah, blah ever. And I was like, yeah, but you went along with it too, dipstick. So let's get you the story because my ire now is oozing everywhere. Trump terminates Biden-era fuel economy standards, says the move is going to cut new car prices by $1,000. It's going to cut them by a lot more than that. Right? Here's the deal. Do you want to drive a gas-guzzling V8? Hells yeah, you do. The same way I want to find a car that's a stick shift. But we've wussified the world now. We've emasculated the auto industry so that your idea of driving a stick is a paddle shifter that you touch with your thumb. I'm sorry, but dropping it down into a lower gear to zoom by somebody is a lot more satisfying than going blip with my finger on my flipping steering wheel. What are we doing? It's almost like this bothers me. Let's get to the details. President Trump has trashed federal standards from the Biden administration that he and the automakers say have driven up the price of new vehicles. No frickin' duh. He said the new corporate average fuel economy change should save consumers about $1,000 on the price of a new vehicle. The change aims to bolster domestic auto manufacturing in the Rust Belt after years of losing auto jobs to overseas plants. I drive by it on the Ohio Turnpike. It's called Lordstown. Used to be a GM plant. They used to make the Cruze there, if I'm not mistaken, the Chevy Cruze. Right? Ghost town, tumbleweeds. Because of Joe Biden. Because of this whole climate garbage. Because people didn't stand up to the climate Nazis and say, you're out of your ever-loving mind. Pete Buttigieg was chest-feeding his kids when all of this was going down, I'm sure. I don't remember him having a role in any of this. Hurry, let's go build a lot of charging stations. How many did they make? Like 7 total cost? What? Billions? What? Where's the common sense? Zero for our Spanish-speaking friends. There was none. The 3 big automakers, Stellantis, which owns Jeep, Chrysler, and Ram, has said it will invest $13 billion in Midwest auto factories in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. Ford says it will invest $5 billion in Kentucky and Michigan factories. Of course, you know, Biden enacted these auto mileage standards to encourage consumers to buy electric vehicle. So what did they need? Your car had to go like 60 miles a gallon for you to be able to drive it or for it to be okay before they forced you into electric vehicles. What was the whole reason for the electric vehicles? Now I'll put my tinfoil hat on. I'll do it. Put you on a grid. If you're on a grid, who controls the power? Who's got their finger on the switch? It ain't you. It's the government. You know what? We don't really like what you've been doing there, Mr. Johnson. I don't think we're going to allow you to have electricity this week. Bzzzt. What? Yeah. Pie in the sky? No. So this is what the president said. He said these EV plans would have cost us trillions of dollars, and they were killing the auto industry. Had to make a move. We made it. We made it today.
Electric vehicle mandate, as you know, where you had to have an electric car within a very short period of time, even though there was no way of charging them and lots of other things. It would have cost $5 trillion to build the charging plants. And as you know, in certain parts of the Midwest, they spent to build 9 chargers. They spent $8 billion. So that wasn't working out too well. That was done before me, by the way. I wouldn't have let it go forward. We're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standards, one of the most important things that I've never had a group of people come to me more powerfully and really just devastated that they had to do it. It was killing them than the automobile manufacturers, the tailpipe emission standards. And I can tell you, your people at Ford were coming to me all the time, and they were saying, like, please, it doesn't do anything, and it's killing us.
He leans back and he's talking to the CEO of Ford, and he's like, when Biden came up with these ridiculous ideas, they weren't Joe Biden's. They certainly weren't Pete's, right? Whomever the puppeteer is behind the scenes, whether it's Obama, Susan Rice, fill in the blank, I don't know. Why didn't the Ford CEO say no? What's hard about that? No, we're not going to do that. In fact, no, I'm not going to change. No. And if you try to put us out of business, I bet you a lot of other companies will come and they will join us. And we will grind the auto industry to a halt in the United States. And your jobs numbers, you won't be able to fudge them fast enough, Mr. President. But they didn't. They were like, oh, yay. I love electricity. It's so great. Hey, Ford guy, that you wanted to take a victory lap and be like, these new plans just make common sense. Where were you, bud? Where were you? I didn't hear about it. You went along with it. How is it that I seem to be like, what? I have no problem telling you what I think is going on. They just go along with it. Everybody just goes along with it, like the fraud in Minnesota. Somebody else will take care of it. I'm sure it's not a big deal. What? $10 billion later, whatever the number is going to be. How does that work for us? It doesn't. So why didn't the world's automakers tell the Biden administration their plans to totally phase out gas cars was totally stupid and unaffordable? I don't know, because we've got a lot of people in this country who pretend to be strong who are actually huevo-less. Here's Trump, the second soundbite. He's like, look, the Department of Transportation is rescinding Biden's fuel economy standards that were absolutely idiotic. And all of you around me here knew they were. Go.
Now, under the new rules being issued today by Secretary Duffy, the Department of Transportation will rescind the Biden fuel economy prices. And I hate to say that because they were really not economy. They were really, they were anti-economy. They were horrible what they were doing to the costs and actually making the car much worse. But these policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car, and we think substantially more than that.
I want you to hear from Ford's CEO. This is what he said, gushing behind the president.
We will invest more in affordable vehicles. This allows us to invest in affordable vehicles made in the U.S., which we will take the lead on, and will allow us to make vehicles more affordable. So thank you for making this step for all of you.
Thank you very much. One of the other things we're doing, it's separate from this meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small. They're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful, actually.
What if you could get into a car for under $20,000? I have no idea what that would cost. But how is anybody able to afford a new car if the starting rate for the new car is over $30,000? And you've got mortgage rates out of control. You've got rental rates out of control. No wonder the youngest generation is like, what? Because they're getting clobbered by the effects of poor management under Joe Biden, clearly. But I still go back to that. What is it? What is it about these CEOs? No fortitude? They didn't want to ruffle any feathers? What was it? Everything about the EV garbage was nonsense. All of it. Jennifer Granholm, let's go get electric buses. We'll go spend a lot of money on Proterra, right? And I invested in that, and I'm not going to tell you that I have stock in that until you catch me, and then I'm going to pretend that I sold it, even though I really didn't, right? And then we're going to invest in this, and what's going to happen to those school buses and whatnot in what was it? Was it Minneapolis? Was it Minnesota? Was it the Great Lakes? I don't know. Where it's cold, Seattle, and the buses stopped working. Like, What? Batteries don't like being frozen? It's so weird. Who knew? But anyway, at least Stacey Abrams got $2 billion for some climate nonsense. Come on. Come on. It's so ridiculous. It's so freaking ridiculous. I want the car that I want to drive. And if it's a gas guzzler, so be it. If I can pay for it, I want to be able to get it. Isn't that the American way? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know how the New York Times blew up the Washington Post fake news story about Pete Hegseth saying, kill them all, blow them all up in the waters. Well, ABC just did that to the Democratic Party. Martha Raddatz did it. Uh-oh. Next.
You know why I didn't say anything? Because Democrats do what they do. To try to make things look affordable, AKA the Affordable Care Act, they give subsidies. You got subsidies for selling these
We'll give
cars
you
that you
money
can charge.
to pretend that
It's affordable.
that this is the new way.
Yeah. So they got money. Ford got money.
The Ford CEO can suck it.
Yeah.
And same with Stellantis. Whatever.
All
I'm
of
glad
them.
you're investing, but whatever. You know, and meanwhile, the workers who make it happen are the ones who get the pinch, right? They're the ones who get the squeeze. Well, we're going to change everything over. You know what's in the it's like an acreage of parking lots at this Lordstown former GM plant. And you can't help but look at it because it's literally it's like a mile long on the Ohio Turnpike. You're driving by this plant for an hour and you're like, dang, that was a huge facility where nothing's going on. But you know what's in the parking lot? The solar panels. Great. I'm sure that's helping. Hope they don't have any hail anytime soon. Oh my gosh, my kids are oh.
Someone's posting a picture.
Yes, and I need you to grab it. Oh. Let me tell you about.
Did you send it?
No, let me tell you about Kelly Morgan. It's not. Oh, here we go. Kelly Morgan. MoreGainsFitness.com. MoreGainsFitness.com. Hold on. Paste, biatch. I don't know what's wrong with my computer.
Just text it to me.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh.
God bless America. Oh my God. My computer is. I like Perplexity, but I think it really gums up my computer sometimes. All right, here we go. Finally. More Gains Fitness, MoreGainz Fitness.com. You know, I think that when you have never been into a gym, you've never really been active, and quite frankly, all of the machines and whatnot seem like it's all foreign. It's nice to have somebody who is a no judgment helper, whose goal is to kind of teach you what you need to know in order to lose weight and firm up your body. All of this is doable. I mean, heck, we see the picture of this gentleman who lost 100 pounds of fat in 8 months. I mean, that's just a staggering number. You have to be giant in order to do that 100%. However, that he's done it and that his skin and whatnot is rebounding is so encouraging to me. MoreGainsFitness.com, MoreGainz Fitness.com. Get on her site. See if you can join the gym. She's in Cambria and Somerset counties. So yes, this is a local thing to Pittsburgh, but holy mackerel, is this woman in charge. She might be your ticket to all things change your life around. Did I not send it to you?
You did. Bad dog picture coming up in the next break. He's bad dog. See, this is your problem. No discipline with the dog.
I do have discipline. I'm not sitting there kissing him. I'm just sitting here saying, oh my God, these automakers. You know, it's my ire at the union heads, too. I think everybody feels like they want their bloviated moment in the spotlight. And when you drive past a defunct auto manufacturing plant, and you imagine all of the ancillary businesses connected to it, when you have a GM plant that employs, I don't know, I have no idea how many people employed, 10,000 people? What do you have? You have a community, you have schools, you've got restaurants, you have a barber shop, you have corner cafes, you have all sorts of, you have a vibrant business district, you have people who are making money, who need to buy stuff. Your entire community is based on that industry. And then you have a president come along, an administration come along and just say no more. And it goes away. And then you see tumbleweeds blowing across that once vibrant community. It pisses me off. For what? To push some climate nonsense that was a grift from the beginning? Are you kidding me? These people are enemies of the state. They're no different than CNN or Jake Tapper. They're no different than the Somalians ripping people off. Is it all the Somalians? I don't care. If it's 4 of them, get them out. I'm not here to worry about your feelings. Suck it. We've gotten to that point. And we got to that point when during COVID, they shut down our kids and forced them to go to school online, and we watched them collapse. I was done. I'm not going back. I'm not going to have a change of heart. I will hate profoundly and feel fine about that. I will never forget what these people did to us. So here's Stephen Miller, national treasure Stephen Miller. So did you hear Martha Raddatz over at ABC as the Washington Post is desperate to drop this double tap story on Pete Hegseth? These barbarians, that first strike on the narco boats that they told us were narco boats, but I don't know if they really were. Were they really? I don't know, says Rand Paul. That there were survivors of the first drop, and oh my gosh, then they went in and Pete Hegseth said, kill them all, and they blew them up. Oh my God, that's not American. That's not what we do. That's not even close to what happened, of course. And lo and behold, isn't it kind of delicious when it's this hack, Martha Raddatz over at ABC News, who's the one to call it out? Let's listen in as Jesse Waters and Stephen Miller chew on the facts.
Tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the 2 survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice.
This backs up the entire second strike.
Yes, I mean, it just doesn't get more crystal clear than that. The mission is take out the boat, stop the drugs, keep this vessel and its cargo from reaching our shore using lethal means. And our amazing military, the heroes of the United States Armed Forces, did exactly that. President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and this entire government are committed to finally using our military to defend our people, our borders, our family, our culture, our history, our heritage, to defend the United States. We're not going off running around the Middle East trying to build democracies in caves and deserts and in distant sands that have never known democracy. We're using the military to protect American security, American prosperity, American lives right here where we live, where our children live.
I voted for that. Can I get a hell yes? Now, in its broader context, let's listen to a more complete clip from Martha Raddatz. I want you to hear it again. It's exactly what the president said. It's exactly what Pete Hegseth has said. It's exactly what Kingsley Wilson, the Department of War spokesbabe, has said. Oh, it's exactly what happened. Let's go.
So we've seen the video of the first strike, but that second strike video that the president said would be released will be key. And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the 2 survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, Martha Raddatz leading us off.
Yeah, Martha Raddatz leading us off tonight.
So there you go. So what are we supposed to do? Go save the two dudes so they could get due process the way Rand Paul wants? He's an enemy of the state. I don't know how much more clear I can be. Meantime, over at MS Now, which still sucks as much as it did when it was MSNBC, you've got Nicole What's-Her-Face, Wallace, blaming President Trump of ethnic cleansing. I mean, like, what? There's a dumb award, and she's in contention. I'm just going to have that out there for you. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio program. So that's how Congress gets so rich. What? Details next. I hate everyone. Except the people I don't. That's unbelievable. But it's totally believable. Yes. Right? Right.
I guess they figured they had to come clean when the New York Times debunked it.
Guys, if you haven't yet, I'm getting down to the nub here. Brock's right. I drink it every single day. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Yesterday, I ate nothing. I had a power bar or whatever, some protein bar in the morning. And I was not hungry until 3:30 in the afternoon. Now, if
Did you have a beer?
I did later. But I mean, not at 3:30 in the afternoon. So that was good for me. Yay, Wendy. Baby steps. Baby steps. I don't know what it is about that cold beer after a long day. I'm like,
is it one of the ones I got you?
No, I didn't have one of those yet. MCT Wellness, better known as The Healthy Fat, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Why would you want to take shots to lose weight? You can drink this. It's a dietary supplement. Also, it can be a meal replacement. It fills you up. It makes your cravings go away. And you're not like ravenous thinking about chocolate or Pringles. This is so delicious that I would drink it regardless. I would put it in my water no matter what. It's tasty. It's refreshing. It's just the right amount of sweet. And oh yeah, Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. The people I know who are drinking it are having phenomenal success. Is it part of the process? Absolutely. Is it an affordable, delicious part? Totally. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It has everything you need in it to lose weight. I love it. Love, love, love it. All right. Do you have it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Let me do this.
Oh, Poppy. Oh, look how cute.
Then he peed on the floor and chewed something.
Murphy. Oh, Bobby.
Bad dog.
Naughty dog.
Remember, it's Thursday.
Oh.
Tomorrow's Bad Joke Friday.
Look at the new hat. What do you guys think about the camo hat? You could barely see it.
Yeah. So Bad Joke Friday, WBRBrock@gmail.com. Good news, WendyBellRadio@gmail.com or WBRBrock@gmail.com. And it is Thursday.
Yes.
So tomorrow, Second Amendment commemorative gifts, AKA
AR-15 magazines,
go on sale. You'll see two that look the same. One says North is Still North edition, and the first original one,
this is
there's
2A.
only going to be 50 of them. So if you didn't get one, this is your last
Some people
chance.
want to get the three set. We haven't made the third one yet, but we're going to have a 3 set offer of these magazines. So they're beautiful. The first one shows
the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment, and it writes it out, and it's beautiful in its script. And when you put it into your gun, it's got the logo on it when you put it in. It's really cool. I'm geeked about it. I think
So
it's really neat.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow it goes on sale.
Yes.
Do we know what time?
I don't.
Okay. I'm just saying some people might want to wake up early. Disinfectwithsniper.com. This is the time to get it. Disinfectwithsniper.com. I rely on this stuff all the time. I use it in the shower. Did you know that Sniper can stop athlete's foot before it starts? You start feeling a little tingle in between your toes. I've never had it, but my husband tells me it's just super uncomfortable.
It is.
So you spritz it in between your toes, let it dry, put on some socks. Who needs Lamisil? Lamisil? Right? There you go. You've got MRSA, SARS, COVID, fungal infections, parvovirus. It kills it all in a spray bottle. And the thing that's brilliant about Sniper is that, first of all, it's safe for all of your surfaces. So, and you don't have to wipe it off. So you can literally spray your toilet. You can spray door handles, knobs, drawer pulls, the refrigerator handle, anything that everybody's touching, countertops, and you don't have to wipe it off. And it neutralizes the bacteria, the germs, all of the stuff that makes us sick. This is that cold and flu season. We're in there now. This is a great thing to have. Disinfectwithsniper.com. And the other products on the page are just off the charts. So you're not going to go wrong at disinfectwithsniper.com.
I believe someone asked the size of the magazine, the capacity. I believe it's 15. I don't take my word for it. I believe it's 15, though. I could be wrong. Is that my pistol? It's cool.
I want to hear Kelly's promo.
Wendy Bell.
Recall that Tim Walz told Kristen Welker,
it's not just Somalis. We're doing everything we can, but to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few.
92% of the people criminally indicted for ripping off American taxes.
Yeah, I don't like to be able to hear myself talking there. So anyway. So anywho, Aunt Mel, thank you so much for the 50.
Oh, it's a 30 round. Thank you, John. 30 round. We mean business.
They're beautiful.
They are nice.
They're beautiful. And Jolene, who's doing them, you guys have given her a lot of work, which is great. And then that gives Lindsay, who manages our merchandise, and the all of the details there, all of the shipping, and she's been phenomenal. Do you know, of the hundreds of packages that Lindsay has sent out as our merch manager, I think 3, maybe I've heard about 3 problems, and it wasn't even her fault. But she's on it like white. She's on it like white.
We don't have to do anything.
I know, she's amazing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock, justthenews.com. Now, this is an interesting story I want to share with you today. They squawked for years about the Epstein stuff. Trump's got to be in it. Trump's got to hide it. Trump doesn't want it to get out. Trump. And so he said, you know what? Fine. I've warned you guys against the whole Epstein pitfall lion's den, right? But you want to be that 19-year-old guy who decided to scale down the wall and into the tree and down into the lion's den where he got mauled by a lion. Shocking. Okay, he said. Release the hounds. And then you had Democrat judges block the release of the Epstein transcripts and whatnot. And we're like, well, wait a minute. If the Democrats are the ones saying that we want to release all of the files because you believe that it's going to be damaging to President Trump and to the Republican Party, and the Republican Party and Donald Trump say, go ahead, release it all. And they go to court to do so. And then your activist judges stop the release of the files. Why is that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because there's some stuff in there that they don't want you to know about. And Trump, of course, called their bluff. Well, what did we just find out about these Epstein files and whatnot? Well, there are a couple pretty high-profile Democrat senators who've been trying to make a name for themselves as the, I don't know, new face of the old wing of the Progressive Party. And some of these details are very unfortunate. I'm going to read it to you. JustTheNews.com, DOJ alleges Democrat senators benefited from dark money from mega donor Hoffman. You guys familiar with Reid Hoffman? Well, Jeffrey Epstein was quite familiar with Reid Hoffman. How many times was he on Lolita Express with Bill Clinton? How many times did Reid Hoffman go over to his island in the Virgin Islands? Why? You guys were working on some contract stuff and you had to do it by a pool, sipping Mai Tais, or were you banging young girls? Well, Attorney General Pam Bondi's team responded to allegations that she falsely accused two Democrats of benefiting from a prolific Democratic dark money donor with ties to disgraced financier Epstein. So this is what the Democrats do. You heard Ilhan Omar do it during the first hour, where she's asked something, and instead of admitting that there's any kind of culpability or the situation of these Somalians robbing the American taxpayers blind, she pivots and blames Donald Trump, says Donald Trump is using the story to deflect from his own inefficiencies, his own problems. He's made campaign promises. He's not fulfilling them. He's probably a war criminal, right? Floating that Chinese spy balloon to see if it's going to stick. This is exactly what's going on here. The Justice Department alleged in a letter to the Senate on Wednesday, last night, in fact, that Democrat mega donor and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman has funneled dark money through his network to benefit two U.S. senators who portray themselves as crusaders against such unaccountable contributions. Oftentimes, it's the people saying, do this, we want that, we want this, who are the ones who are, in fact, breaking the law. It's the perfect cover. The probe into Hoffman and his political donor ecosystem was spurred by a letter from Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley following up on the October 7th testimony of Attorney General Pam Bondi to the committee. In exchanges with Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, the committee's top Democrat, and Senator Sheldon Whitehouse over the Epstein files, Bondi confronted the senators and accused them of taking campaign donations from Reid Hoffman. Both of the senators later denied that in a letter to Grassley. Well, Hoffman's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, who, as you well know, died a disgraced financier and sex offender, were previously reported as early as 2019. Durbin, Whitehouse, and 9 other Democratic senators accused Bondi of deflecting questions about the Epstein files by falsely accusing Durbin and Whitehouse of receiving campaign contributions from Hoffman. So in October, at this October 7th Senate hearing, she said, well, as she's being asked about the Epstein files, and then they were later signed when it was passed, that House resolution or whatever, the law, the Epstein list, transparency law, whatever. And Donald Trump signed it. He's like, all right, you guys want it? Release the hounds. Let's go. She turned the tables on the senators who were trying to make it sound like she had something to hide on the president's behalf about Jeffrey Epstein by saying, it's funny, I have some information about you guys. You two in general, Durbin and White House, but also several others who've gotten money from Epstein buddy Reid Hoffman. Do you guys want to talk about that? Oh, you're deflecting. Well, no. The Justice Department's letter says publicly available evidence shows Durbin and White House have indeed appeared to benefit from the largesse of Hoffman's political contributions to political action committees and campaign committees. And it's quite a bit. Quote, the evidence paints a clear picture that Reid Hoffman has established a dark money empire that channels anonymous donations through nonprofits and PACs to influence federal elections and judicial nominations. That's what the Assistant Attorney General Patrick Davis wrote to Charles Grassley. Additionally, he said, Ranking Member Durbin, Senator Whitehouse, and other Senate Judiciary Committee members have apparently benefited from this system. Wait a minute. Your Senate Judiciary Democrats have gotten tens of thousands, in fact, it's been millions of dollars from Reid Hoffman? Get out. That's crazy. No wonder everybody is so loaded. In the letter, the Justice Department pointed to over 1,650 contributions in excess of $76 million to Democratic and Democrat-aligned causes as evidence that Hoffman is at the center of a liberal, dark money ecosystem. We were always wondering, who's funding all of this? It's not USAID anymore. Doge blew that out of the water and the left went bananas, right? And when Doge started sniffing around the Treasury Department's archives, they lost their minds and launched that tirade against Tesla, right? It's almost like it's also connected. $76 million to Democrats and Democrat PACs. To do what? To influence them. Wow. So dark. So bribery and blackmail-ish. Doesn't it feel that way? According to Federal Election Commission records, the DOJ cited, Durbin and White House have been indirect recipients of Hoffman's donations. Neither of the senators returned a request, of course, for comment. The campaign finance tracking site Open Secrets estimates at least $1 billion in dark money has been spent in elections just since 2010. Dark money refers to spending that's meant to influence political outcomes where the source of the money isn't disclosed, right? So all of a sudden, you've got all of this money to influence what Sheldon Whitehouse decides, who he votes for, the causes he gets behind, the reasons he gets out in front of the public. Money talks. And when you need money to be reelected, it talks really loudly. Does it not? Opaque nonprofits and shell companies may give unlimited amounts of money to super PACs. They're legally required to disclose their donors, but some of these groups are effectively dark money outlets when the bulk of their funding cannot be traced back to the original donor, right? Isn't that like Act Blue, where they were using Smurfs, random people who at one point had given to the Democratic Party, and then they took those people's names and social security numbers, funneled money, God knows where it came from, but it's ours, you and I paid for it, and they allege that these people, little people out in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, were making thousands of donations every year for hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Democratic Party. James O'Keefe rolled up and knocked on some doors and was like, Mr. Smith, is your wife home? Because here on this record, we have that she's made 2,700 donations this year to the Democratic Party. Is that you? No. Huh. So this is how the system operates. Why isn't Reid Hoffman giving money to Republicans? Well, are we not worthy? I don't know. Seems to make sense that you would, unless there aren't enough dirty people there to pay off. I don't know. But all of this is connected to the Democrat outcry for the Epstein files. Okay, you asked for it. Where's all the media coverage of this? because this is the only story I could find about it. Isn't that interesting? Oh, Dick Durbin. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, is it me or does it feel like Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro might be, I don't know, auditioning for the Democratic Party? He called Kamala Harris a liar. Ooh, let's find out why next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Don't look at the rumbles.
Okay.
I thought the Murphy picture would help.
That's deeply wounding. It's really not, but it seems like it's a reasonable thing for me to complain about. I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Go pee-pee, and then he had his pee-pee dance. It's this. Because his leg shakes. Whatever. It's like a puppy. Okay. How's everybody? What's going on, Viper? Hi, Beebs. What's going on, Lace and Demanda? Hi, Candela. Hi, Rosebud and Ray Carr. Hi, Murphster. Deprived Canadian. The Pittsburgh Penguins got smoked last night. Yeah, they suck. Duh. Okay. It's like the Steelers. We're all going to suck. All of the Pittsburgh sports teams are going to suck. Okay. Whatever. Hi, Hoodoo. That's nice of you. Hi, Darius. Hi, Stephen G. Hey, Fusco. What's going on, babe? Pod Racer, Mr. Anderson. Hi, Amy. Amy J09. Hi, Razorback. And Shenanigans. Hi, Daco Will and Stag. Hi, Right76 and W Kindle. I'm sorry, but there's still some names out here every single day, and I'm like, who's that? It's so great. Hi, Goody. I know you. Hi, 11 Callie. Hi, Occasional Thug. What's going on, guys? Oh, somebody, what do they want me to do?
I think you got everyone. Pretty sure.
Newsmax is asking me to jump on their show today, but it kind of throws off my jam. I got to go grocery shopping.
Today's the first day I don't have anything to do after work. Do you think they want me?
Yeah. You want to come over and do it? I'm booked, but Brock is good. I bet you'd do great at stuff like that. Do you have any interest in that?
No.
None at all?
No.
Why? You're able to, you talk.
Yeah, why would I want to, though?
I don't know.
You wouldn't even have me on your show. Why would I want to be on someone else's show?
You are on my show.
Your Newsmax show.
Why wouldn't I have you on my Newsmax show?
I don't know. Why didn't you?
You're not a radio host.
It would have been good publicity.
You think? I can ask you. All right, next time.
No.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
No.
I'm busy.
No, you're not. You don't even know when or what.
I don't have a studio.
You don't need a studio. You have a camera and you sit there. You could probably smoke your cigar.
I'm sure they'd love that.
I don't think they would care. I don't know.
I'm trying to find out what time the site will go live tomorrow. So if I find out before the end of the show, I'll let you guys know.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Now, certainly because we live in the land before time, Pennsylvania, we have a grip on who this Josh Shapiro fellow is. I remember him when he was Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and they busted open the Catholic Church pedophile scandal, and it was hot and heavy for a while, and I heard nothing about it. Exposed it, woo! And then I never heard about any priests being punished. I didn't hear about any of them being exposed. I didn't hear about people being defrocked or what have you. There was nothing. It just sort of stopped. That was literally the last time I paid attention to Josh Shapiro. But if you're a Democrat in a Commonwealth such as ours, it's almost a shoo-in. You're going to win election. And as governor, it seems like he was on a short list for a while to be Kamala Harris's vice president. Well, apparently in her book, 107 Days, Brock, you've read it, right? I know you've read it. You read everything.
I don't read picture books.
Oh, ouch. In this book, apparently Kamala says some very unsavory things about Josh Shapiro. And the headline on the New York Post right now, Josh Shapiro rips Kamala Harris for blatant lies about him and her memoir. She's trying to sell books and cover her ass. Wow. That's not, we're not mincing words here. Seems like Josh is maybe auditioning for something himself. Who knows? Just thinking out loud. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro ripped into former Vice President Kamala Harris, accusing her of spreading blatant lies about him and her memoir, chronicling her failed White House bid. Shapiro, once on Harris's shortlist for vice president, flew into a fury when he learned that the former Veep, in her campaign tell-all 107 Days, described him as arrogant, domineering, and captivated by VP perks during the vetting process. I don't know. I'm not a Josh Shapiro fan. I just don't find this at all likely, but let's go. He wrote, or he said she wrote that in her book? Shapiro asked the Atlantic's Tim Alberta, who I guess the journalist who was highlighting the scathing passages in a sit-down interview published Wednesday. He says, that's complete and utter BS. I can tell you that her accounts are just blatant lies. So here's what she said. In her book recounting the 107 days of her doomed campaign, Harris and Shapiro said Shapiro was fixated on the vice presidential residence, measuring drapes. It got me there. Measuring drapes. How many men do you know? Brock, how many men? How many men measure drapes, count bedrooms, and question if the Smithsonian would lend Pennsylvania art for display? Would you measure drapes? Do you know of a man who would do
I don't
that?
know a man that cares about drapes,
Right.
let alone measuring them.
Maybe Pete Buttigieg. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, he's gay. He was too gay to be her VP, right? He was a little too gay. Ridiculous. So that's what she says. Shapiro was fixated on the vice presidential residence, measuring drapes, counting bedrooms, and questioning if the Smithsonian would lend Pennsylvania art for display. If you're kind of auditioning for a job, that'd be a pretty ballsy thing to do, would it not be? Do you really believe that that's what happened? I think he's a dirtbag, but I don't know about that. Harris wrote that the governor wanted to be, quote, in the room for every decision if she became president, adding that he often hijacked conversations and frequently needed to be told he wouldn't have equal power. Really? I don't know about that. She seems like just a loser. I mean, come on. Alberta and Shapiro said Shapiro's reaction shifted between outrage and exasperation while reading the excerpts. Even he didn't read her stupid book. When asked if he felt betrayed by the vice president, Shapiro lashed out, accusing her of deflecting the blame for her crushing loss to former President Donald Trump. According to the article. Wait, I thought it wasn't crushing, right? I thought she won. She got more than any other, right? I mean, she's trying to sell books and cover her ass. Shapiro snapped before backtracking. Then he said, I shouldn't say cover her ass. I think that's not appropriate. Oops. So this is trouble in paradise. There's Kamala spending $1.5 billion of taxpayer money, donor money, To do what? To pretend that Beyonce wanted her? That John Bon Jovi just couldn't wait for President Kamala, right? She detailed the vice presidential search, writing that Pete Buttigieg, who is gay, was her first choice for running mate, but that the pairing was too big of a risk due to his sexual orientation. Wow. Wow. We were already asking a lot of America to accept a black woman married to a Jewish man, Harris wrote in her book. Part of me wanted to say, screw it. Let's just do it. But knowing what was at stake, it was too big of a risk. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Profiles of a small brain complex. Oh. And by the way, he's probably running for president. So there you go. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, just so you're totally clear. Democrats hate you. It's not like they just don't like you. It's they hate you. They hate everything about you. And you need to know this. And I'll prove it to you right after this short commercial break on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm going to go to the bath. Room.
So the AR magazines will be ready for sale tomorrow by the time you wake up. So not knowing what time she's going to put it out. Be sometime after midnight, probably. She's a late night person. Wendy doesn't think we'll sell out. That's what she said. What do you guys think? You guys bought way more the first time than I ever thought you would. I looked at getting 20 made just to see if anyone was interested. And you guys knocked it out of the park. I think we sold 200 of the first series. That's why we're putting 50 more on the site tomorrow for all the people who emailed me saying they didn't buy it and they didn't get a chance to buy it. So there's only going to be 50. And then we made 250 this time. So, you know, once they're gone, they're gone. So that's why I tried to give you guys fair warning. I'm sure I'll still get emails. Yeah, I really think we'll sell out too, to be honest with you. I think it's a cool idea, and it wasn't mine. It's my brother's idea. I think it's a cool idea, and you know, we try to find stuff that other people aren't selling. And I don't know anyone, not that I know everyone, I don't know anyone selling AR magazines.
Not one single person, never, ever, anywhere.
Well, I mean, like a show, like obviously, like a show. That's how that works.
Trying to liberalize you.
I told them that you don't think we're going to sell out. She doesn't have faith in you.
That's not what I said. I didn't say I don't have faith in them.
Oh.
I think it's a lot. And we're making like 250 of these mugs too. And I'm like, there's no way. And he's like, you realize that we sold out of the last ones.
We started with 250 and had to order more.
I just think that's amazing. I'm just amazed by that. You guys are crazy. Did it get freezing in there all of a sudden? Jeez.
The AC turned on.
We need to have a talk with management. There was a guy who was in charge of stuff, and then he up and quit. And so now we got nada. Nada. So what do you think about Josh Shapiro, Brock?
Oh, I think he's a complete...
Yeah. I just think
vibrating hammer.
I think it's interesting that these stories are coming out. Like, honestly, first of all, nobody's going to read her stupid book anyway. And secondly,
do you want?
Who cares what Kamala Harris thinks?
I'm going to say it again. I said earlier that everyone's fighting in politics for relevancy. You want to know why Rand Paul wants to have these hearings?
Yep.
So he can get his 5 minutes and then go on Fox or Newsmax or CNN or...
You know who does it a lot and it pisses me off? Byron Donalds. He's on a lot. He's on a lot of things. And I'm like, I'd rather see you doing other stuff.
Well, he's he's running for office.
I get it.
I guess... Yeah, so by the time you wake up tomorrow, the magazines will be on sale. If you don't get it, please don't email me. Because there's nothing I can do. It's just... that's the thing. They want these hearings for their 5 minutes. And then you and we all know that nothing comes from them. Or if they do come, like finally all the hearings about Joe Biden, some things are starting to turn the auto pen.
They've known for years that Ilhan Omar lied on her forms. And that's against the law. That's illegal and that's punishable. And it should be punishable. You should not be able to break the law and be a freaking congressperson. Sadly, I don't know if Congress attracts criminals or if it makes criminals. But we got a hell of a lot of them. What is it I see that Tim Burchett wants to be head of the Doge committee?
Yeah. And doesn't think he'll get it because he doesn't fundraise enough and he doesn't kiss ass. Well, if we just figured, there's the problem. Start with the fundraising.
Yeah. This
Do
is
your
why
damn
this is
job.
why term limits are coming up with a more reasonable, a reasonable approach to how long they can serve. Makes a lot of sense. Wendy Bell radio program. You know, we started the beginning of this second term for President Trump talking about issues that were 80-20, 90-10, like the whole idea of boys pretending to be girls and playing in their sports. That's not even close, because you don't have enough people living in some farcical land where they believe you could be whatever you want to make that an issue that would be a nail biter. It's a huge number, right? How many of these issues are 90-10, 80-20 issues? There's a lot. And what we've been able to talk about in the first 11 months of this presidency is how much Donald Trump is able to force other people, because of their derangement, their legitimate clinical wackadoodle behavior about this president. They choose whatever the opposite is that he does. And what he does is common sense. It just doesn't, it's not complicated, right? If you want to stop people from mooching off of your system and you want to stop people from hurting American citizens who are from overseas, you shut down the channels that they can get in from overseas. That's common sense. That's a 90-10 issue. No duh. Even blowing up these terrorists. It warned them. This is war. You're killing more people every year in this country with fentanyl and cocaine and meth and all this other jazz than died in 8 years of Vietnam. That's not a hard one. We believe that people who want to do harm to the American people should be neutralized. The bleeding heart liberals out there who were forced to choose the losing end of these conversations. Think about Senator Chris Van Hollen. I mean, imagine getting on a plane that your constituents paid for. That's an expensive trip. And flying to El Salvador for a photo op with an illegal alien human trafficking, wife-beating gangbanger who's a member of MS-13. Imagine going over there and defending that dude's due process to remain in America, to continue beating his wife, to continue being a human trafficker, driving people hither and yon, right? Continue doing whatever it is that he's doing. That's what Chris Van Hollen decided to do. Trump forces people. He's flushing the covey. Trump is out there with his dog, and they're walking very quietly through the brush. And he snaps on a twig, and poof, there go the birds. That's what he does. Simply by speaking common sense, make America great again, America first. We want to bring back money into this country. So we're going to tax and tariff all of these other countries. Oh, you can't do that. And so Democrats go out of their way to try to stop the president from doing what is great for the entire country. Forces him to choose. See, the Democrats always take sides against normal people like you. Have you noticed that? There's a great article, townhall.com. One of my favorite authors, Kurt Schlichter, writes this article basically about they hate us. Just so you know, if you love America, if you're common sense, if you're traditional family, if you're really nothing all that extraordinary, you're just a good human being and you believe in common sense things that are good for everybody, he hates you. They hate you, rather. Democrats do. There's one thing you can be sure of about Democrats, the regime media, left-wing degenerates in general. They're always going to take somebody else's side in a fight. They're never going to take your side. Never. They're never going to take the side of decent, patriotic, and normal Americans. In fact, they hate decent. They hate patriotic. They certainly hate normal. I mean, how many weirdos are walking around your community with five different colors of hair and tats all over themselves and whatever? Like, you can be you. You do you. But it's like they're almost trying to do the opposite of normal because that is where they're comfortable. Because it's as far away from what they believe is the scourge. And that's you. That's MAGA. That's America. That's people who love America. People who voted for Donald Trump. They're never going to take the side of decent, patriotic, and normal Americans. And not even just a little bit. They hate us a lot of it. They cultivate a burning hatred of us, a loathing that exceeds all reason and understanding. Maybe it's because they realize they're, I don't know, freakish perverts, some of them. Maybe they recognize that they're greedy mediocrities and desperately resent that normal people refuse to recognize them as their betters. Maybe it's simply that normal people are an obstacle to their power. I don't know. Doesn't matter why. It only matters that they despise you. And they do. Hakeem Jeffries even calls you extreme MAGA Republicans. Joe Biden, when he was president, called MAGA garbage. Hillary Clinton called us deplorable. I mean, like, how many more examples do you want? Now, I mean, you may not think of them, but they're always thinking about you and how to hurt you. You may want to live and let live. They want you to live. They want to live and let you die. How do we know? Because they tell us. It's all over social media. They elected a guy who wanted to watch our kids die. When that bizarre pervert murdered Charlie Kirk, what did they do? Many of them cheered. And many others at least had the tactical savvy to do their cheering in their own bubble and not let us see. You're a Nazi. You're a racist, an Islamophobe, a transphobe, a fascist. Whatever is the bad thing to you, you are it. And you must pay. Literally, that is the psychosis. Every single one of their policy decisions reflects that. Every single policy is aimed at helping the people who want to hurt you. some disgusting Afghan immigrant welcomed generously into this country, supplied with all sorts of welfare. Since we, of course, can't expect third world peasants to support themselves and must, for reasons and because labor to subsidize their stay in our country, we decided to repay our generosity by murdering one of our soldiers and wounding another. What did the left's? Where was the sympathy? Was it with the young woman ambushed and murdered on the street wearing the uniform of our country? Was it the other soldier who's still fighting for his life? No. It was with the scumbag who did it, the jihadi freak who shouted Allah Akbar before he shot down our people. Right? What about perverts? What else, do you call the deviants who pretend they're women to hang around in girls' locker rooms? Whose side does the left take? Does it take the side of the girls or the side of the leering creeps who are drooling over them? They take the side of the creeps. Your girls are supposed to bear the burden of their perversions. Your women are supposed to carry the weight of this freak show, right? And if you're upset about it, they're going to call you names. If they can. They'll get you fired, expelled, prosecuted, persecuted. What explanation could there possibly be for siding with weirdos who pretend to be different genders so that they can touch themselves in a woman's locker room other than an absolute hatred of normal people? Yeah. How about illegal aliens? They come into our country, they pillage our welfare state. A bunch of them commit terrible crimes. They're not supposed to be here. Remember that whole thing about our democracy being important? How we're supposed to be able to vote for our own laws and govern ourselves? Well, we did that. We decided they can't be here. We decided they've got to go home. We don't get to do that. We get to pass laws. We just don't get to enforce them. So where's our democracy? All the people babbling to you about democracy love democracy right up until the moment like people like us, normal, patriotic people, dare to participate in it. And they will always side with the illegal aliens. And it's true. Stephen Miller said this, and it's brilliant. Democrats, they always choose the wrong people. They're choosing the drug runners. They're choosing the terrorists over you. Can you believe how blatantly, how out in the open the Democrats are regarding their ire for us? Here's Stephen Miller.
This is the first time I can ever think where a major political party has sided with narco trafficking, murdering, terrorist scum. You play one of those clips from a Democrat who said, oh, there's no such thing as a narco terrorist. They're just narco persons. The ISIS and these narco terrorists in our hemisphere use the same tactics. They use rape as a weapon. They skin people alive. They cut off their heads. They burn them to death. These narco terrorists, if a politician opposes them, they kidnap their family. If they don't give them what they want, they murder their family. You can go to the Border Patrol here in the United States and you can say, draw me a map of the border, and on the Mexican side, tell me which cartel controls every inch of territory. And the border agents can literally say, mile by mile, which cartel controls which section of the border. Not the Mexican government. They don't control it. Which cartel? When President Trump declared these organizations foreign terrorist organizations, that wasn't just a talking point. That wasn't just a buzzword. It was a promise from this president to use hard American power to kill and to stop these terrorists, these enemies of the United States, from killing our families, from killing our children, from taking over our communities. And that's what President Trump is doing.
Every single time they could stand up for us, they stand up for the people against us. They're mad at Trump for tariffs, which were designed to get American workers to stop being victimized by unequal trade deals. They're mad at Trump because he wants to cut off aid to ungrateful foreigners and make their transgender mind tropes pay for their own performances. They're mad because Trump is ending DEI that discriminates against normal, hardworking Americans. They will actually tell you it's not racism if they discriminate against white people or Asians or even blacks and Hispanics who don't toe the party line. They are mad at Trump because his Secretary of War is killing the drug dealers who bring in the poison that murders 100,000 Americans a year. They're mad that our sons and daughters aren't going to overdose. Wouldn't it be nice if they got mad at someone hurting Americans instead of at Americans who are fighting back? It doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to tolerate this. We don't have to take it. They've got one weapon, their awesome power of whining. All we have to do is not care what they say, not pay attention to when they cry, not give a damn how unhappy they are that we are standing up for ourselves, that we are prioritizing our own people, that we are putting America first. It's time to take our own side in this fight because no one else will. That is the story of the Democrats in America today. And that is the truth. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I hate when these climate emergency things, when they get debunked because the research is proven to be crap. I know it's so shocking. Why would they ever lie and trust the science? Really? This is a beautiful slap in the face for all the alarmists. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love that article. He's right. It's what we always say. They're always against everything that's good for us, and they're for everything that hurts us, punishes us, keeps us down. Why would anybody ever vote? Why would you be proud to be a Democrat? I'm not saying I'm always proud of being a Republican.
325.
Oh, wow.
This is why
That's why
we beg.
Yeah.
And,
I
people say,
specifically
well, I
haven't-
hate when you beg. This is why. Because if she doesn't, we get 325.
Way to poo in my mouth.
Who? I rumbled. Blame the people who haven't rumbled. Yell at them like you yell at Murphy.
Such a naughty boy. Birthday boy. My son Jack turns 24 on Saturday. That's so weird. And then Michael turns 26 in a couple months. It's not possible. Maybe I'll get them gelatinous masses for their eyeballs.
Well, you can at least give them an eye appointment.
Oh my God, look at this, Hopna. What is going on over here? I don't know. Nothing good. Anywho.
That's everywhere.
Whatever. I literally sweat while I'm doing this show. I get so
Until
into
the
it.
AC kicks on.
Yes, and then I'm like,
Yeah. Is your AC right above you?
Yes, it goes
it
right
is?
down my neck. Yes, it blasts right on my neck.
I should really get over the ear headphones.
Yeah, I used to have those.
Yeah.
You still have them.
Yeah. I don't like the way they feel.
Like
These
what?
ones make my ears itchy.
Yeah. This this climate BS. Like, honestly, now I was listening to CNBC this morning on the way in, and Joe Kernan was talking to some muckety muck at Pfizer. And they were bitching because there's some push to dig into the ingredients of something. And he was like, this is outrageous. And I was like, oh my God.
What do you hide? Like, why would you care? Like,
Like,
this is what's in it.
And
Take it, don't take it.
Joe Kernan was like, he was almost kind of pussyfooting around the whole COVID and kids have died because of the jab. And the guy was like, yeah, we should have discussions about that. I'm like, what?
We
should
have been for 5 years.
Remember how you fired us?
I
Kelly's
do.
cute. He says, just a note, nobody can see that there's anything wrong with your eye. No, I know that, but it's driving me absolutely crazy. And so I feel it. And so that's why I talk about it. But thanks, Kel.
You got the stank eye.
I don't, shut
You
up.
got stanky eye.
That's so gross. I don't even know what that means, but I find it offensive.
Well, you give your kids the stank eye probably a lot.
No.
And that's what it came from. Yeah.
I give it to Murphy. Bad dog. You're a bad dog, Murphy. And he's like, And then he like licks me. I'm like, okay, fine.
See, you're a pushover.
That's not true.
You are a pushover.
It's not true. You know I'm not a pushover.
When it comes to that dog, yes. You're mad for like 30 seconds.
Study bites the dust. Shut up. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Look, do we have an impact on our environment? Yeah. If you can, will you do whatever is within reason, even sometimes going a little above and beyond to take care of the environment? You don't litter, you recycle. If it's hot out or cold, you're cognizant of your furnace or your air conditioning. You realize that you do leave a mark on the world. Do you need the government holding a gun to your head and telling you that you need to dramatically change everything that you do and every move that you make in order to fulfill some pie in the sky objective that truly is unattainable? Kind of like the fuel efficiency standards under the Biden administration. I mean, it's stupid. And the effect of this, too, is so frustrating because there is actual science. And we want to trust in science. But man, since COVID, I trust nobody. Certainly not science. The media widely reported on a study finding that the world would be $38 trillion poorer in the future unless action was taken to reduce emissions. I mean, now you're dumber. I'm sorry. Who knew that you could come to this program and just like that, I could take your IQ down 10 points? 38 trillion. Who's the one who came up with that? Hey, Earl, get in here. All right, here's what we got to do. Look, we've got a limited amount of time to try to fleece enough of these stupid people out there to believe that everything they do is making the planet cook. Even though we only represent 4% of the world population, we need to squeeze the American people. We want them to buy a bunch of crap that they don't need. We're going to spend a lot of money because there's lots of grifts. So how are we going to do that? Ready? Break. Oh, $38 trillion. Brilliant. That's what we'll do. When a peer-reviewed study last year concluded that the burning of fossil fuels was going to make the world $38 trillion poorer over the next century, journalists across multiple outlets reported on the findings. This just in. Even though the peer review file showed that some of the reviewers had concerns about the study's conclusions, many climate journalists did not question the study's findings and conclusion. Why are you all such sheep? Sheep. In the months after its publication, the study, which was written by researchers at Germany's Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, was found to have profound flaws. Only the Washington Post, of all places, had reported on these at the time. Just the News covered the controversy. On Wednesday, the authors retracted the study. Come on, man. Honest to goodness. The impacts of flawed climate research that get widely circulated can go beyond the walls of academia into the realm of policy making. Yes, it's a great grift. When war is all but certainly going to come to an end, crank up the climate controversies. This now retracted study has been seen by organizations influencing policy around the globe, including the World Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the U.S. Congressional Budget Office. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse cited the study last year and again in July, both times entering it into the congressional record. I wonder if Reid Hoffman is particularly fond of underage girls, Jeffrey Epstein, and climate catastrophes. Climate change will make you poorer, CNN warned. The Guardian reported on the study under the headline, Climate Crisis. Average world incomes to diminish by nearly a fifth by 2050. Reuters and Forbes also posted articles on the study, and the Associated Press reported that the new study calculates climate change's economic bite will hit about $38 trillion a year by 2049. Did the AP even think even remotely critically about how stupid that was? It's like, yeah, we're serving 18,000 meals for needy children every day inside this little bitty restaurant. Yeah, let me tell you, it's an amazing operation. But wait a minute, there aren't even 18,000 kids in your community. Stop it. We're still doing it, and aren't we good people? I mean, honest to God. So why was it retracted? Because it was garbage. Because it was garbage. Same garbage we got during COVID. You know what I will say? As awful and gnarly as that chapter in our history was, I'm telling you, I am grateful how many blinders were taken off. Me in particular. Because before I'd be like, yeah, I believe my doctor. And now I'm like, how much does my doctor really know? $38 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds so believable, doesn't it? No. We have a lack of critical thinking in this country. That's the problem. Common sense, conservative values. We're going to serve it up again tomorrow, so don't be anywhere else. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.